Up on HBO, a World Championship boxing tripleheader. Superstar contender Meldrick Taylor tries to take the first step back from his loss to Julio Cesar Chavez. Colorful character Hector Macho Camacho gets serious in pursuit of another title. And double world lightweight champion Pernell Whitaker tries to unify that weight class against the man who holds the third lightweight belt. Three of boxing's biggest stars, live from Lake Tahoe, Nevada, coming up on HBO.
Pernell Whitaker, Meldrick Taylor, Macho Camacho, an incredible night of championship boxing. IBF WBC lightweight champion Pernell Whitaker takes on WBA champ Juan Nazario. Olympic gold medalist Meldrick Taylor takes on Primo Ramos. Then Hector Macho Camacho fights to retain the junior welterweight title against hard-pounding Tony Baltazar. HBO Sports presents a boxing triple header. Coming up next, only on HBO.
HBO Sports presents from Lake Tahoe, Nevada. Not one, not two, but three fights. A boxing triple-header extravaganza. Meldrick Taylor, coming back from a devastating loss, is this evening's first star attraction. 5 months ago, as an undefeated junior welterweight champion, Taylor was only seconds away from another title.
If he gets up, he probably wins the fight. I can't believe it!
Unbelievable! Richard Steele stopped the fight with fewer than 5 seconds to go. Tonight, Taylor's heart and character will be tested in his return to the ring. Up next, Hector Macho Camacho, one of boxing's most colorful and controversial characters. In the early years, Camacho was as dazzling in the ring as outside of it. But recent lackluster performances have prompted some to question his dedication and desire to excel. Which Camacho will show up tonight? We'll soon see. And then our main attraction, Pernell Whitaker, the IBF and WBC lightweight champion, tries to unify the lightweight division as he takes on WBA champ Juan Nazario to determine the best 135-pound fighter of the moment. A boxing buffet that offers something for everyone. Stay tuned as we bring you 34 scheduled rounds of boxing among three of today's top fighters. Everybody. Tonight, World Championship Boxing comes to you live from Caesars Tahoe in beautiful Lake Tahoe, Nevada. As HBO Sports presents an action-packed boxing triple-header. This evening's card begins with two junior welterweight fights. First, former champion Meldrick Taylor returns to the ring to take on Primo Ramos. Next, the undefeated and ever-colorful Hector Macho Camacho faces Tony Baltazar. And then in our main event, a unification for the lightweight title as IBF and WBC champion Pernell Whitaker beats the WBA champion Juan Nazario. And amid the splendor of the Lake Tahoe area, nestled high in the high Sierra Mountains on the California-Nevada border, next to one of the most beautiful lakes to be found anywhere in the world, an enthusiastic crowd files into the outdoor arena at Caesars Tahoe, many of them still buzzing in their boxing talk about what happened to Meldrick Taylor against Julio Cesar Chavez almost exactly 5 months ago. And hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. We welcome you to a triple header in which you will be seeing, surely, two of the best pound-for-pound fighters of the world in Meldrick Taylor and Pernell Whitaker, and another in Hector Camacho, who at one time in his career certainly ranked as one of the best pound-for-pound, and who may yet do so again. For more on this card, we turn to our HBO boxing analyst, Larry Merchant. And Larry, in the nearly two-decade history of boxing on HBO, we've never had a triple header before, but here we are. What's the significance of this card?
Well, it reminds me of what the great Ernie Banks used to say when he was a star for the Chicago Cubs. Let's play three. And, of course, we're going to have three today, believe it or not. Usually when a promoter tries to sell three main events, it's because none of them by themselves sell themselves. But this card does have something going for it. A couple of big things. One, it does have 3 of the better fighters on the planet. And together with Julio Cesar Chavez, Taylor, Camacho, and Whitaker may do for the 90s what Leonard, Hagler, Hearns, and Durant did for the 80s. Secondly, although they're heavily favored, the opposition is not made up of walkovers. None of these guys is going to go down and stay down the first time they're hit with a solid punch. The collective record of the opposition is 92-12. So as referee Mills Lane is sure to say later on, let's get it on.
Good point. No tomato cans among the opposition. Case in point, Primo Ramos, the man who will fight Meldrick Taylor in fight number 1, as Taylor finds himself in a situation quite analogous to the one in which our Ray Leonard found himself 10 years ago when he tried to come back from the loss to Roberto Duran. Ray, how strong is the analogy, and what's in the mind of Meldrick Taylor tonight?
Well, Jim, for any celebrated undefeated fighter, a loss is a horrible experience. You know, you go through a state of depression, and Meldrick Taylor felt that. He went through that phase. But also, you get a very valuable experience because, in retrospect, you see what you've done wrong, what you could do better. And for Meldrick Taylor, this particular fight here, you may see him being very tentative in the early rounds until he gets going.
As was the case, I think, in your loss to Duran, Taylor hasn't lost any stature within the sport as a result of the loss to Chavez. If anything, his image has grown. But nevertheless, there was tremendous disappointment in the loss, and it is that disappointment which has occupied the mind of Meldrick Taylor for most of the last 5 months.
A fighter prepares for many things in life. Losing isn't one of them. Up until 5 months ago, Meldrick Taylor had never lost as a professional. That all changed the night he met Julio Cesar Chavez.
He is the current IBF Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Meldrick Taylor.
Look at the speed of Meldrick Taylor's flurry, reminiscent of a young Ray Leonard.
Whoa, beautiful
Trading punches inside, and Chavez again seems to wobble slightly as Taylor lands at will. Brilliant stuff from Meldrick Taylor. Chavez on the verge of going down. A desperate and determined Julio Cesar Chavez tries to take out a fading and battered Meldrick Taylor, who has completely dominated him through most of the fight.
If he gets up, he probably wins the fight. I can't believe it!
Unbelievable! Richard Steele stopped the fight with fewer than 5 seconds to go. Chavez had done the impossible. Taylor's corner was in a state of disbelief. Whether referee Richard Steele stopped the bout too quickly will always be open to question. But Steele wasn't the only one to be second-guessed. Many of trainer Lou Duba's actions were also being re-examined, such as why he instructed his tired fighter to stay close to Chavez in the last round when the scorecards later showed and Duba believed Taylor was ahead in the fight.
You want to be champion of the world? You need it now. No, the fight is hanging on this round here now.
A lot of people have second-guessed me on this here and whether I did the wrong thing by sending him out there. No, my instructions to him was stay low, turn this guy around, but win the round. He did that for 11 rounds. He did that for. Why shouldn't he do it the 12th round?
If I had to do it all over again and had that last round to go over again, I would use my own judgment. I would basically listen to myself, you know, do what my body was able to do in that last round. But I would probably box a little differently next time.
Another question. Was Taylor's inability to answer referee Richard Steele the result of being distracted by his own trainer, who climbed onto the canvas before the fight had been stopped?
Well, when Ludovic came on the ring apron, I turned to my right side and looked in the corner, and I think that distracted me when Richard Steele had asked me, was I okay?
Despite all the controversy, the fact remained Taylor had lost his title in a devastating manner and suffered a terrible beating. After the fight, he was rushed to a local hospital and treated for severe dehydration and a fractured bone along his eye. For Taylor, his life would quickly change. In the upcoming weeks, there were periods of depression. He tried to hide from the world. Losing was an all too new and too uncomfortable experience.
You've body can always heal before your mind can heal. Physically, I healed in a few days, but mentally, the thought kept nagging at me of the pain that I went through and the anguish that I went through.
Time and time again, Meldrick watched the end of the fight, hoping it was all a bad dream and that soon he would awaken, still as champion.
When I watch the tapes, I get upset and depressed. But it took me a long time to accept what happened and be able to put that in the past and say, look, I want to go on with my career. I want to have a future in boxing. So I had to take this as a learning experience and had to come back much more stronger.
Meldrick Taylor discovered time heals all wounds. With the help of his family and of trainer Lou Duva, Taylor was able to find within himself the self-confidence necessary to try to regain the title.
I'm on a mission now to be a world champion again. If you can get something out of a mistake, if you can learn from your mistakes, or if you can learn something from doing anything in life that makes you prepared for something else, then I think that is something that's positive that you did in your life.
The sign of a true champion is how he comes back from adversity. Tonight, Meldrick Taylor will discover whether he has the heart of a champion.
And now Meldrick Taylor prepares to enter the ring for the first time since the Chavez trauma. An interesting choice of music, the great Benny King's Stand By Me. And of course, everyone in the Meldrick Taylor camp has stood and will stand by him as he tries to make his professional recovery from that first defeat. But Larry, the implications of something that was touched on in the piece, the physical beating that he took in that battle.
I don't think it's widely appreciated just what a war like that takes out of a fighter, win or lose. And I think it took a lot out of Chavez as well. Another Philadelphia fighter, Joe Frazier, in my judgment, was never the same Joe Frazier after he beat Ali in their first fight. So this is a test on just how he will accept punches, whether in a crisis he will back off, whether he will be the best Meldrick Taylor we've ever seen, which certainly was for 11 rounds, 2 minutes and 45 seconds of that fight with Chavez.
Under bright sunlight in the late afternoon here, Meldrick takes off the sunglasses now, and behind the familiar figure of trainer Lou Duva, prepares to step up into the ring.
Come on, Joe, come on. Come on, let's bounce it out, come on.
A lot of support from the crowd.
Let's go, come on.
For a fighter who has had 26 professional fights after winning an Olympic gold medal, the only loss to Chavez, a draw, was with Howard Davis, another famous Olympian, 4 years ago. And among those 24 victories was a 10-round decision 3 years ago over the same man he's fighting tonight, Primo Ramos. Ramos, who took a fight on short notice against Taylor back in 1987, gave him a little bit of a tussle in a route-going performance, indeed rocked him with a left hook in the 5th round. And we take a look now at the record of Primo Ramos, the man who will be tonight's opponent for Meldrick Taylor. 39 wins, 6 losses, and a draw on the record, although one of the 39 victories as listed as a 1985 win over someone named Jose Castillo in Mexico, and our own interpreter, former 2-time champion Ruben Castillo, remembers beating Primo Ramos, and that bout is not listed on the record. So there might be a couple of discrepancies here and there, but never mind. This is a tough professional fighter, and Ray Leonard, he may have some weapons of his own to bring to the bout with the ultra-skilled Meldrick Taylor, as you give us the tip of the night for this fight.
Well, Jim, boxing is the name of this game. So Meldrick Taylor should use that great hand speed, throw those beautiful combinations, get in and then get out. Just get out of harm's reach, because fighting Ramos, he's going to find himself in a few exchanges and he doesn't want to be there. In their first meeting, Ramos had an opportunity to connect with the, in fact, this is Chavez, the right hand, because what happens with Taylor, he drops his hands a lot of times. With Ramos, he needs to stay physical, fight his fight, get inside, work the body, and then work the head. This time, I think we're going to see a much more active Ramos, because he had adequate time to get in shape. He better stick to his own style and try not to outbox Meldrick Taylor, because in trying to outbox Meldrick Taylor, he's going to end up on the losing end of the stick.
And a good look at Meldrick Taylor. As we check the tail of the tape, they weighed in over the 140-pound limit where Taylor had held his world championship. Indeed, he has said that he will never again fight at 140 pounds, that he is going up to the 147-pound welterweight limit from here. You see there that Ramos is 30 years old, and it's a pretty well-traveled age, 30. He's been boxing continuously ever since he was 14 years old.
Let's take a look at some of the punch stat numbers. This is what happened in their first fight. Taylor was throwing many more punches then than he did later in his career as he settled down to throw harder punches. But again, I can't accent enough what Jim and Ray have already said, that Ramos had only a few days to prepare for that fight. He's had a full month to prepare for this. Here you can see the jabs and just how many punches Taylor was throwing, and that Ramos isn't looking to throw the jab.
Rules for the bout are those of the Nevada State Boxing Commission. 3 judges scoring the fight, 10-point must system. No standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. The bout ends if a fighter is knocked down 3 times in 1 round, and you can be saved by the bell in the last round only. And now we go up to the ring announcer here in Lake Tahoe, Jim Hall, for the pre-fight introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Dr. James Nave, Chairman. Commissioners Dwayne Ford, Dr. Elias Ghanem, Luther Mack, and Jay Nady. Executive Director is Chuck Minker. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Steezer's Tahoe, Main Events Monitor, and Madison Square Garden, present our first bout of the evening, scheduled for 10 rounds in the junior welterweight division. Our referee for this contest is Carlos Padilla. Introducing first in the red corner, he's wearing the red trunks with the white trim. He weighs 143 pounds. He's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He sports a record of 39 wins against 6 losses and 1 draw, with 28 wins by knockout. He's the number 2 ranked challenger. Here's Primo Ramos. And now, ladies and gentlemen, fighting out of the blue corner, this young man is wearing the black trunks with the gold trim. He weighs 144 pounds. He's fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with a record of 24 wins, 1 loss and 1 draw, with 14 big wins by knockout. Here's the former IBF Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Meldrick Taylor.
Who's the chief seconds? You're the chief seconds? Yeah. Okay, Meldrick, Primo, you were already given instructions in your respective dressing room. Any question? Okay, seconds come out fighting.
Ramos was pinning his hopes on, 1, the fact that he has had a full time to prepare on this occasion, and secondly, he is openly hopeful that Taylor is punch shy and intends to test him early.
And you see the heavy knee brace that Meldrick Taylor is wearing, and that is left over from an old injury more than 2 years ago. It is not a significant problem for him now. The brace is worn more as a precaution than anything else. Although, as a further precaution, it should be pointed out that Meldrick was not allowed to skip rope as much as would normally have been the case during training for this fight. Good right hand by Ramos.
You're going to see a lot more right hands thrown by Ramos, because in their first meeting, Ramos was able to capitalize on the fact that Taylor dropped that left hand. Right now, Meldrick Taylor is still tight. He's not loose yet.
Put it up, put it up.
Good exchange inside. Ramos digging 2 rights to the body. And already you see the clear evidence that Primo Ramos is no stiff, no mere opponent. He's fought a lot of good fighters.
In their first encounter, Ramos was able to rock Taylor with the left hook. Ramos has a very potent left hook when he gets it in.
He had a win 6 years ago over Roger Mayweather. And as Pernell, Whitaker, and Julio Cesar Chavez would attest, a win over Mayweather is no small accomplishment.
Ramos' hands are not slow by any means. He gets that jab out there and he snaps it back.
On the other hand, Taylor's hands may be the fastest in the sport.
Meldrick Taylor's hands are so quick. He's able to get his punches in and jump out. A lot of times he has a tendency to stay there just too long. And this is what Ramos wants.
Ramos with the right hand lead over the dropping Taylor left.
A very smart move by Ramos.
Another right to the body inside for Ramos. It's been a good round for him. Solid left hook.
Okay, bring it up, bring it up. Come on, come on.
A good round of prize fighting. Taylor knows he is being tested here.
No, ya con esto.
¿Ya le pusiste tú?
Fíjate bien, primo, fíjate bien. Necesitas rematarlo. Cuando le tiras a la derecha, remátalo con los ganchos, primo, izquierdos. Ya sea abajo o levantándolo de upper, primo.
Throw
¿sí?
your right and your left
Izquierda,
hook.
derecha y levántalo. Porque se te está clavando, primo, para adentro.
Here's the left hand by Ramos. Remember seeing that same punch in their first fight drove Taylor back. Taylor is much stronger now 3 years later.
Much stronger and much more settled down onto his feet. More flat-footed as a fighter now. So he takes punches with a little bit more stability.
You see what Taylor did just then. He feigned. He has to do a lot more of that to try to keep Ramos off balance. He shouldn't try to exchange punch for punch.
Particularly if Ramos is looking to counter against him, as he seemed to be in round 1.
That's exactly what's taking place here, Jim. Ramos is trying to counter that left hand of Taylor.
Taylor beginning to go to the body, much more than was the case in round 1.
Okay, come on. Come over, hold it.
Carlos Padilla telling Meldrick Taylor to bring it up. There was one low blow in that exchange. Solid left hand by Meldrick Taylor.
As the rounds progress, you'll see a lot more combinations thrown by Meldrick Taylor. He'll get a little more comfortable, a little more relaxed, and you'll see his punches flow a lot smoother. The first round is very tight, somewhat tentative. Right now, he's a lot more loose.
Coming off the Chavez fight, was round 1 from Taylor about what you expected, Ray?
I really expect that because normally after a devastating loss, you're trying to regain your composure and your style. And he did that in the first round.
I think it was good to get rocked once with the left hook, get back into action a little bit.
Well, he knows his opposition. He knows exactly what he's up against. And that way he's more cautious now. What Taylor needs to do is try to bring those hands down on Ramos because Ramos keeps those hands very high.
Well, surely that's why he attacked the body in the first minute of this round.
Well, the way Ramos keeps his hand, it's a good indication he's had very good training. Because from day one, you're taught to keep those hands up at all times.
So it is a somewhat more self-assured Meldrick Taylor who exits round 2.
Taylor himself admitted before this fight that he wondered how he would handle all of this. That even though he felt he looked great in the gym, he said not until he gets into a fight will he know how he has responded to that loss.
My body. Okay, but don't throw one punch. You understand? You throw a right hand, come back with 2 hooks. The guy don't counter. You got me covered? If you throw a right hand, come back with 2, 3 hooks. So no. See? Because if you throw one punch, the guy come back with something. Next time you throw a hook, come back with a right hand.
Vamos, ándele, ahí va caminando bonito. Cuando él te logra dar un golpe, contrarresta los puntos que vaya pudiendo hacer él.
Counterpunching. Primo Ramos had a couple of years of college in Mexico studying business administration, but he didn't need a couple of years to college to tell him how it would enhance his ledger to win this fight.
Some very good advice from Georgie Benton in Meldrick Taylor's corner. He told him when he throws his right hand to come back with 2, 3 left hooks so Ramos can't counter. Because in throwing one punch, what happens, your opponent's brother is able to read that.
In the Chavez fight, Taylor was able to double and triple up on the left hook with tremendous effect. Lou Duva shouting, keep the right hand up, watch out for the left hook.
Again, you notice every time that Taylor throws that left jab and drops it, you notice Ramos tries to counter with the right hand.
Meanwhile, our interpreter, Ruben Castillo, passes along that between rounds in the Ramos corner, he was instructed to throw the hard right hand because it's their belief that Taylor may still be a little shell-shocked from the right hand with which Chavez put him down.
When you're fighting a guy like Ramos, because he's waiting for the opportunities, you need to change the direction of your punches. Your jab to the body, jab to the head, right hand to the body, left hook to the head. Just got to change up. Don't do the same thing over and over again.
More and more, it looks as though they are settling in for a tough tactical battle. This is not a championship fight. Taylor's title is gone. This is scheduled for 10 rounds only.
You saw the right hand thrown by Ramos again.
Ramos going to the body inside after Taylor missed with the wild left hook.
What I like about Ramos is very economical. He doesn't waste anything. He takes his time, he picks his shot, drops right hand there. He takes and picks his shot.
Short, straight punches, too.
Very patient, Jim.
They exchange lefts. And again. Another series of low blows from Taylor. Got away with some in the first fight against Ramos 3 years ago.
Harold Letterman, our unofficial official, How do you score these first 3 rounds?
Well, thank you, Larry. I've got a 2-1 favor Meldrick Taylor. I thought that in the first round, Primo Ramos did well, and Meldrick was a little bit rusty. But in the second and the third, Meldrick showed me real good ring generalship. He goes to his left, then he goes back to his right. And I think that Primo Ramos is going to have to get a lot busier in order to defeat Meldrick Taylor.
You cross him.
But be close when you do it. Be close and be quick, right? Now listen, don't be jabbing once, but you got to jab 3, 2, 3, you know, so the guy can't count over top, right?
Tu golpe es más fuerte que el del Primo, ¿eh?
Your punches are a lot stronger than his.
Ándale, vámonos, pelado.
Let's go. Ray, a question. After Mike Tyson lost, he chose to fight a fairly easy opponent. After Meldrick Taylor lost, he's in there with a real tough professional. What do you think is best for a fighter in that situation? You know, normally, like with me, you get right back in there with a tough opponent, because with a lighter opponent or lesser opponent, you have a tendency to fall prey to not being motivated. So if you fight a guy that's vulnerable, you're going to train hard. And the way Meldrick Taylor looks now, he's trained very hard for this fight. But again, there were questions that he wanted to have answered, whether or not he still had it.
Well, he ought to get some answers here. This guy's tough.
He's making Meldrick Taylor work because he's doing different things. You notice he goes downstairs, he slips, throws a body shot, throws a liver shot, counter right hand. He's making Meldrick Taylor work.
Well, there's no basic fundamentals that he can't cover.
He's a very shrewd fighter, very good fighter, Ramos.
But on the other hand, he's up against one of the most spectacularly talented physical specimens in the sport. I mean, Meldrick Taylor is a gifted fighter.
Meldrick Taylor can do everything in the ring. He can box, he can punch, great hands, great legs, and he's a thinking fighter. Even he admitted himself that, in retrospect, with the Chavez fight, he would have, if it was up to him, he would have done more boxing.
And that's what he's doing with Ramos right now in this round. Working off the jab, but Ramos lands a left inside, and Taylor staggered for just a moment.
Those shots thrown by Ramos to the body are devastating body shots. What Taylor has to be conscious of is not to stand up. He has a tendency to stand up and expose his chin. And you don't do it with those body shots are hurting. Those body shots are hurting Meldrick Taylor.
And they are starting to cause Meldrick to bend over and drop his arms a little bit.
Because what's happened with Ramos, he's going to the body and coming up to the head. What he needs to do, Ramos needs to do, is double that left hook up, not throw one shot.
Ray, does Meldrick look as fast to you here as he has in the past?
Not really. He appears to be a little sluggish. Tentative at times, like that when he walks in. I don't like that because he comes in with his chin exposed. And you look at Ramos, this takes his time. Watch your head.
Carlos Padilla telling them to watch their heads, look out for the unintentional butt.
Walk in behind the jab. Stay close to him. Fight him on the inside. What do you think? Huh? But now the hands up good high now when you go up there.
Don't put too much grease.
Now listen. When you walk in behind the jab with your hands up good and high. And when you cut loose,
Hey, don't put too much grease. Hey.
Fifth round. When you cut loose, I got it. When you cut loose,
relax. Nice and relax.
cut loose with combination. Have your hands good and high now.
Now here is that exchange inside of right hand over Taylor's left. He just stepped right in. Ramos is a very clever fighter, the way he's coming forward, but making Taylor lead before he goes.
He's making Taylor work every minute of every round. And in my judgment, that punch, that exchange won the round for Ramos. Gray saw. Meldrick Taylor doesn't have the same kind of fluid movement, the nice fluid movement that he normally has.
One other observation, gentlemen, and this one comes from punch stat operators Logan Hobson and Bob Canobio. Taylor perhaps not stepping in aggressively with the jab, only landing 17% of them, 10 of 55 in the first 4 rounds.
What's going to make a difference in this fight also is the altitude. Because what happens when the fighter says fight each round, it wears him down. And Ramos is not really working that hard until he gets inside, until he gets close.
Okay,
Both guys are coming in with their heads, so there may be an inadvertent headbutt at times.
Another solid right hand by Primo Ramos as he stepped in. Taylor tries to come right back with the left.
It was Ramos' jab that was a lot more devastating than the right hand, Jim. He has pretty good leverage behind his jab, Ramos does. Now, this is what I don't particularly like in Taylor, when he stops and poses and tries to get inside, because what happens, he's giving Ramos an opportunity to land a shot too.
Oh! No, hold on. Bring it.
Meldrick posing again, looking as though he's trying to load up a right hand.
And when he waits like that, he becomes a stationary target, and especially he becomes so susceptible to that right hand.
There's one of the blinding speed combinations for which he's so well known, and it gets a rise out of the crowd. Ramos showing his hand speed still.
What Ramos is really showing is his composure. He's not getting frustrated. He's sticking to his own fight plan.
Something Julio Cesar Chavez was able to do despite trailing on points through the entire fight against Meldrick Taylor. 5 very tough rounds in a good fight so far. And just the first of 3 this evening on HBO. The second of the 3 fights coming up, Hector Camacho, undefeated, 38 wins and no losses against another top veteran fighter, Tony Baltazar, and we take advantage of an opportunity to sneak into Hector's locker room as he gets ready for the fight. Let's take a look at Hector Camacho.
Macho time.
Macho time.
Hey, Keisha, Ray Taylor, everybody. Macho time. I'm doing all right. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to my family. Hey, hey.
Hector, relieve the suspense for us. What are you going to wear tonight?
Oh, come on, Barry. Hey, back to my house. Hey, Keisha, hey. Hey, I don't know. I look pretty like always.
You look very relaxed, Hector.
Oh, thank you.
What do you think of this fight so far?
I can't see nothing. I don't got no TV. But I'll tune in a little while. Hey, everybody, all my puppies, my kids, Macho Princess, hey.
He goes to bed talking like that.
A master of self-celebration.
Watch your head!
And that's going to happen time and time again because the way that Taylor comes in and the way that Ramos' style is.
Now Taylor backs Primo Ramos up against the ropes.
Though most of those shots were caught on the arms of Ramos. Ramos blocked a lot of those punches. I must also say again, with the altitude, when you throw a lot of punches, you spin yourself early, it takes its toll in the later rounds.
Now, between rounds, Ramos complained to the people in his corner that his right arm feels tingly and numb, as though it's falling asleep. Makes you wonder whether Meldrick Taylor has managed to land something on a shoulder or an elbow, which might have done damage to a nerve.
We know that Georgie Benton, Taylor's trainer, believes that hard punches to the arms can have an effect on your opponent.
Indeed, George teaches his fighters to aim for the shoulders and the elbows and try to wear his opponent's arms down. Taylor smiles as Ramos grazes him with an uppercut inside.
With Taylor, as he's trying to throw those combinations, get his punches off, he comes off the canvas. He's moving straight ahead, which is a bad habit. Because what happens if a guy does counter you, and it doesn't have to be a hard punch, you'll go down 9 times out of 10.
Taylor wild with the right, but managed to get in the left.
Now Ramos is making a mistake. He's not throwing the punches. He's just posing. He should be doing more work inside. He should be forcing this fight a little more.
Maybe preoccupied with the right arm, and now Taylor does get bumped on the head, just as Carlos Padilla has suggested would happen. Just missed with the left hook as he was stepping away. But now the Taylor hand speed seems to be becoming a big factor as round 6 comes to a close.
In that round, it wasn't the altitude, it was the attitude. Taylor showed the attitude of a champion, and you could see him feeling it. You've got to throw 3 or 4 punches. You can't just do it one punch at a time. You got to loosen up. You got to throw him 3 at a time. After you hurt him, then you go with all your force. Don't wait so long. You feint, and then you throw your left hook over the top. Come on. Come on, Primo. He's afraid of you, Primo.
No dejes que la pelea se cargue a él completamente. Necesitas presionarlo.
You gotta put pressure. There's a good jab by Taylor. Had his whole shoulder behind it. And there is the hook. See if we can catch the butt that happened here. Right there. Right there. Toe-to-toe, head-to-head.
Round 6 was the best round of the fight for Meldrick Taylor. He threw 77 punches to only 21 for Primo Ramos. Taylor landed 32 times to only 7 for Ramos. So Meldrick may be assuming command of the fight. See what happens here. What an active corner Ramos has. Trainer Alfonso Martinez constantly in his ear.
The 6th round from Meldrick Taylor was more of a reassurance that he still has it. He threw a lot of beautiful combinations. He worked the body, worked the head.
And you saw Ramos missing weakly with a left and a right, maybe getting a little arm weary. Although there he lands a low blow with the right. Timeout, Meldrick Taylor down. Bad situation. He's got 5 minutes to recover it. This is a replay of a situation that took place in the first Taylor-Ramos bout.
Ramos trying to point out that Taylor grabbed his head. That's why he threw the low blow. He pulled his head down.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a look at that later on, but both fighters have landed low blows. Ramos appears to be yelling at Taylor, come on, let's fight. You hit me low, too.
Low blow. Okay.
Taylor elects not to use the full 5 minutes, comes back and starts to blast away with the left hand. Ramos in a little trouble. Taylor went down on one knee. Padilla calls it a slip.
It was a slip, Jim. He stepped back when he gets the rope and lost his balance. Both men are furious here. Changed some heavy blows.
Taylor landed the uppercut. Crowd now squarely behind Meldrick. Ramos caught a breather too, though.
At this point here, Jim, anything can happen. This is when you can almost expect a knockdown. It's almost inevitable when two guys are angry at each other and have a tendency to take more shots than necessary.
Meldrick appears to be settling down a little bit now.
I think Meldrick Taylor sees a little frustration in Primo.
Okay, bring it up. And just as I suggested the crowd was behind Meldrick, you begin to hear the chant of Primo from his supporters. Full house here. As if to say, what's with this guy?
Ramos just coming in with all head now. Head first.
Meldrick is still feeling the effects of the low blows. Is that why he's dancing away and running, Ray?
I believe so. I think because it was a good shot to the below the belt, and he's just trying to buy his time. Very smart, very healthy, as a matter of fact.
This is a marathon round.
Taylor right now is just trying to actually get his second win. Trying to take a breather.
And round 7 finally comes to a close. It felt like it started in May.
Well, as an old track coach I knew used to say, this ain't no county meet. These guys are serious.
Yeah.
Harold, how do you have it now?
Well, Larry, I've got us 5 rounds to 2 in favor of Meldrick Taylor. I think that Meldrick is constantly getting off first. And, you know, effective aggressiveness means so much to a judge. Meldrick Taylor in rounds 5 and 6 back to Primo Ramos constantly. He took the fight to him. He gave him a good old-fashioned whipping. And Primo Ramos is just waiting too long.
Now let's get to the bottom of that low blow if we can. Well, I don't think that Primo Ramos was truth-telling when he told us that it was Taylor's fault.
Check us out.
It was just a low blow. I don't think it was deliberate, but it was a low blow.
Point stat numbers, so Taylor still outlanded Ramos 28-12 in the round, even if you count the 2 low blows for Ramos. Meldrick Taylor's first time back in the ring since the dramatic events of 5 months ago against Julio Cesar Chavez. Not terribly surprisingly, Ramos asked his corner between rounds what round it was, what's coming up. Pretty easy to get lost in this fight.
Meldrick Taylor is starting to dictate the tempo of the fight. He's fighting his fight. He's making Ramos fight his fight. Ramos actually just posing at times. And you see there the combination thrown by Meldrick Taylor.
And you wonder if the altitude has had more of an effect on the 30-year-old Ramos than the 23-year-old Taylor. Because this is not the same Primo Ramos who was so crisp and effective in the first 4 rounds of the bout.
Taylor is throwing that single jab, and that's what Georgia Benton doesn't want. He wants him to double the jab so he can't be countered.
Okay.
I think as long as Taylor finishes up with the left hook, he's going to be okay.
Finish every combination with the left hook.
Finish every finish throws combination, finish up with the left hook. Because what's happening with Ramos, after he throws the combination, he stands straight up. He stands erect. which makes him very susceptible to that left hook.
Crowd liked the roundhouse right, but it actually landed more with the open fist than with the effective part of the glove.
You notice now that Taylor's beating Ramos to the punch. In the early goings, Taylor really had it tough because he couldn't get off. He was not fluid at all. Ramos needs to fight with more aggression because fighting this particular style, this particular tempo and pace, he's not being effective.
He's playing into Meldrick's hands, and now 7 rounds are complete in the battle between Meldrick Taylor and Primo Ramos. First of 3 in the first ever triple header on HBO Sports, to be followed by Hector Macho Camacho against Tony Baltazar, and that one to be followed by the lightweight championship unification battle between 2-belt titleist Pernell Whitaker and WBA champion Juan Nazario.
Throw a lot of punches, Primo. Throw a lot of punches. When he goes down, you pick him up with some uppercuts. And he gives you that opportunity to pick him up with uppercuts. Throw your right hand. Cover yourself up with your left hand. Go out from one side and go out to the left.
9 rounds. 9 rounds.
Be alert. Be alert. Have a good eye. Hands up good now.
Check this out. Check this out.
When you heard Georgie Benton say to Taylor, be alert, keep your hands high, it's a signal that they really know that he's in command. Incidentally, the referee has taken a point away from Ramos for that low blow.
Round 9. Don't let me mislead you. I said at one point 7 rounds were complete. In fact, 8 rounds have been completed. So they are into the 9th of a scheduled 10 rounds.
They told Ramos in his corners to try the uppercut. That's not going to be the punch. The punch that Ramos has in his favor is the left hook, which he was able to rock Taylor in the first meeting.
Left hook landed for Taylor. Quick, snake-like left hook inside.
I just love those head things when Taylor does that. He throws his man off key, and then he can take control.
Trickle of blood from the left nostril of Primo Ramos' nose. Ramos got in an uppercut. That's what his corner was asking for. Uppercut, uppercut. Taylor comes back, and again the left hook. And more as Taylor throws, Ramos doesn't throw back.
What's happening here? It seems as though Ramos is starting to wear down now. Not as much action from him, not as many punches. He's not as busy now. But it seems to me he's waiting for one particular shot. It appears that he tries to allow Taylor to punch himself out, and then he takes control.
Right hand landed for Taylor. Finally, Ramos answers with a left hook.
Well, that's the problem, Jim. One punch. One punch is not going to do it. He needs a couple. He needs combinations.
And, of course, part of what's at stake here for Meldrick Taylor is the beginning of the step up to welterweight. It would do a great deal for his confidence at 144 pounds if he could somehow get Ramos out of there.
This is the mistake that Taylor made against Chavez. He stopped. And when he stops, he becomes a sitting target. This is what Ramos wants. He wants less movement from Taylor. He wants him to be right there.
Yeah, but unlike Chavez, who was there for 12 rounds, I don't think Ramos has the same sting in his punches now as was the case in the first 4 rounds.
That left hook of Ramos still carries a lot of power, Jeff.
Finishing with the left hook twice, as you prescribed, Ray.
Taylor seems so much stronger than Ramos.
Okay.
Fue el último round, primo.
Watch the low blow.
El último round, primo.
Last round.
Clean him off. Clean him off.
Okay, last round.
Give me some water. It's nothing.
I know.
Primo, last round.
Watch the low blows, ref. Watch the low blows. Jab and use the jab. Sticking his head him up and down, right? For about a half a minute. Then move back in. You got me covered? Come on. Now don't get late. Don't get careless, Mel.
Last round now.
Last round.
Now look.
Harold, going into the last round, how do you see it?
Larry, 7 rounds to 2, 88 to 82, including the point that Padilla subtracted. I think that Meldrick Taylor is in complete control of this fight. There's no way that Primo Ramos could possibly pull us out without a last round knockout.
Last round.
It'll be interesting to see how Taylor deals with Ramos here, knowing that he has the fight.
Okay, break it up.
And what a poignant counterpoint to the events of 5 months ago, as you heard George Benton in the corner between rounds saying, don't get careless. Good stuff from Meldrick Taylor. Solid right and a left hook inside. Increasingly in command.
Okay, break it up.
What's also going through Meldrick Taylor's mind is the fact, since that loss to Chavez, he wants to come back with a very impressive win. And in doing so, he probably wants to knock out Ramos, or attempt to.
Okay, break it up. Stop it.
But with the words, don't get careless, ringing in his mind, if he listened carefully to George, maybe it's out of the question at this point. What will be impressive about the win, if indeed Taylor goes on to a decision, is that he appeared for a while to be facing a difficult situation, and he managed to stare it down.
But this is a perfect opposition for a fighter like a Meldrick Taylor after his first loss, because a guy can punch. That means Taylor is not gunshot. And that was the big question hanging over Meldrick Taylor's head. Whether or not he was gunshot.
Taylor, if anything, looking quicker now in round 10 with his hands when he throws combinations. It may have been the case 5 or 6 rounds ago. Left hook landed for Ramos. Meldrick backed up. Less than a minute to go.
You know what's going through Meldrick Taylor's mind, too? It's the fact he's reliving the same round, last round, of his fight with Chavez.
It's almost identical at this moment. If Ramos lands another left hook like that, a replay isn't out of the question. And Meldrick knows it, and he's on his bicycle.
Okay, scissors, go!
This is a very, very good fight for Meldrick Taylor. It will give him a stamp of approval.
And yet another professional show by Primo Ramos. Let's not forget what he did, gentlemen.
Let me underline that, Jim. I have the greatest respect for fighters like Ramos, a really honest professional fighter. He didn't leave anything outside of the ring. He gave us what he had, and that gave us a good fight.
An excellent 10-round battle. Meldrick Taylor's first time fighting up at 144 pounds as he heads on toward the welterweight class. And the word from Taylor's people, indeed, is that if Julio Cesar Chavez is going to get the rematch for all the big bucks that would go with that, he's going to have to come up and find Meldrick at 147. He will not find him down at 140 pounds again.
Good fight you fought. Yeah,
Here. I'll get this one.
I got it.
What'd you think, Ray?
You got the mouthpiece.
I thought it was a very good fight for Meldrick Taylor. Again, coming off a devastating loss. This fight here was good for him because Ramos, no question about it, could punch and could hurt him. And it gave a stamp of approval to Taylor to let him know that he still has a good chin.
Your final card, Harold Letterman, how do you score it?
Larry, Jim, I had it 8 rounds to 2, 98-91 in favor of Meldrick Taylor. I just thought he was too quick, too fast. That getting off first and you know, taking it to Primo Ramos, that really impresses judges. Judges love a guy who shows effective aggressiveness, and Meldrick showed it all night.
And you had him winning the last 6 rounds of the bout.
Without question.
And now we go up to ring announcer Jim Hall for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Caesars Tahoe, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Dave Moretti scores it 97-92. Judge Doug Tucker scores it 98-91. Judge Bert Clements scores it 97-92. Winner by unanimous decision, it's Meldrick Taylor.
Offering of discontent from the Ramos supporters in the crowd, but general approval for a decision which went right along the lines offered by our own Harold Letterman. Total punches in the bout. You can see that Taylor was much the busier fighter. They landed a nearly equal percentage, but particularly in the last 3 to 4 rounds, it was Meldrick Taylor who had the more effective impact. And now we go up to Larry Merchant with the winner. Larry?
Meldrick, how do you feel about the fight? With all the questions that you had about yourself after the last fight?
Larry, to be honest, I have to feel great about this fight because this is my first fight since traumatic loss to Chavez. And I think that I showed that I am a world champion, world-class fighter. I went in there for a tough guy, went 10 tough rounds. I boxed, did what I had to do, stay out of the way of his bombs, and win the fight. And that was my plan, my strategy going into the fight.
First 3 or 4 rounds, you didn't appear to be the Meldrick Taylor, certainly of the second half of the fight. Did you feel a little tentative at that point?
Well, I didn't really know how he was going to come at me. So I sort of tried to fill him out the first couple rounds, and I improvised on, you know, leading to the middle rounds. And I realized that I wasn't going to knock this guy out. So I should just go ahead and be smart and box, use that jab. Like my people tell me, lean over with the jab, throw 2, 3 jabs in a row, and try to land with that right hand, throw combinations.
The low blow, how badly hurt were you?
That was very severe, very damaging to me because he threw it with a lot of force behind it. It landed right in my nuts, and it hurt it real bad.
Did you come back too quickly because you started to dance around before the end of that round? Were you still recovering?
Well, I wasn't really trying to feed into the crowd, but they was booing. They're not in here. They don't realize that that's the most powerful punch that you could land. Is in the privacy of my family Jews. So, I mean, it really hurt though a lot. It really had a lot of pain, and I took a little bit of rest, but I was ready to fight, and I wasn't going to complain too much.
What is next for you? You've stated that was your last fight in the 140-pound range. Give us your reasoning about moving up until the welterweight division.
Well, I would just like to say, ever since I stood up to the challenge of Chavez, it seems like everybody want to fight Chavez, and it's a joke. Because there's only one fighter out there that could beat Chavez, and the world knows it. That's me. And I'm moving up to the welterweight division because the 140-pound is starting to be too strenuous to make. It's too hard on my body. So I like to step up to welterweight and take on challenge bigger opponents.
Why do you think the crowd doesn't see this fight the way you see it?
Well, I'm an entertainer. I did what I had to do to please the crowd. I threw my flurry combinations. I stung with good on single shots and everything. So really, I'm a crowd pleaser, and I did what I had to do. What my people wanted me to do in my corner to win this fight.
One last question. The last round, you fought it a little bit more judiciously than you did the first fight. Of course, you weren't as hurt as much as you were against Chavez. But were you conscious of not being reckless in the last round?
Absolutely. This guy was going to come out the last round and try to knock me out. I wasn't no fool at all. I knew that I had to stay away and stay away out of his bombs because he was going to try to knock me out. And I was a little leery because I heard a lot of people screaming, box, stay away, box, box.
and I heard Ali say stay away box. I didn't want him to get hit with that looping right hand or that bolo hook, so I did what I had to do to survive that round.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to say hello to my sweet daughter Melanie that's back home. Daddy's coming home to see you tomorrow, baby. So hang on in there. Alvin Robinson of Philadelphia for the great fight for the Pan American Games, the Goodwill Games, and he lost in the gold medal round. But I'd just like to congratulate him and say that he put on a great performance.
Thank you, Meldrick. Jim?
All right, thanks very much, Larry. A very satisfied Meldrick Taylor, and Ray Leonard, I think he probably got what he needed tonight.
Well, he got the win, and he was able to find out whether or not he still had a pretty good chin. And Ramos can punch. Ramos was able to rock him a couple of times, but again, he proved that his chin is okay.
He's getting what is, to me, a surprising number of boos as he exits the ring from this crowd. What do you think they might be dissatisfied with?
Well, I guess they wanted to see more action, but I think the problem was Ramos didn't continue the fight he had in the first couple of rounds. He stopped laying back, and Taylor did the right thing. He moved away out of harm's reach.
The apparent plan among Meldrick Taylor's people is for him to now seek a fight with the WBA World Welterweight Champion Aaron Davis, unbeaten, the man who knocked out Mark Breland a few weeks ago. Is Meldrick a welterweight?
I don't believe he's a welterweight. I know he has problems making the light welterweight division, but I think you'll find out that these guys will be punching harder, and some may be just as quick as Meldrick.
So you think it's a big step from 140 up to 147?
It's a big step, and I'm not going to overrule that, but I think he has to have a couple fights to see how he feels at that weight.
Let's take a brief opportunity now to talk with Meldrick Taylor's good friend, boxing stablemate, and two-belt world lightweight champion, Pernell Whitaker. First of all, Pernell, how much of that bout were you able to watch?
Well, Jim, I watched a little bit of it. I watched just about the whole fight. And Meldrick did what he had to do. He set the tone for me. Now it's up to me to come out and try to out-battle that performance. That was a good performance, but Pernell Whitaker blew up.
Did you see the low blow sequence, and did that worry you in particular?
Yeah, I saw Meldrick get hit low. It came back here in slow motion, and it was definitely a low blow. But no, I'm not worried. I know what I have to do. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to dazzle myself. I'm going to surprise myself about how good I'm going to look. I know everybody's back home tuning into this fight, and I just want to go out and have a good time, and I want them to know that Pernell Whitaker is going to win the fight.
How much of your motivation is simply to win the third title and win the bout, and how much of it is to build and embellish upon the growing reputation of Pernell Whitaker, now called by many boxing writers the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world?
Well, right now I have to go out. I have my mind focused right in on the fight tonight with Juan Nazario, and I know what I have to do. We worked for 5 weeks, so what we really have to do is, Jim, is go out and just maintain and keep our cool and just go with the game plan. If whatever we need to change in the game plan, then I would let the corners do that. But as far as Pernell Whitaker is concerned, he puts his hands into his corners.
All right, Pernell, thanks very much for your time, and best of luck to you as you continue to prepare for tonight's third bout. We got a second fight coming up, and that one showcases one of the great enigmas in the sport. A guy who's won 38 straight fights and is often criticized, Hector Camacho. How much of the abuse is deserved, Ray?
Well, I think what has happened in the past is the fact that Camacho creates such a disturbance in the ring and outside the ring that some people got a little peed off with him. I think Camacho's a very good fighter, in fact, excellent fighter. So he's out to prove something that he has to vindicate himself.
First ever tripleheader here on HBO. Meldrick Taylor has taken care of his business. Pernell Whitaker prepares later to take care of his. And now we get ready for the second intriguing bout of the evening. As coming up on HBO Sports, we will bring you a 12-round fight between Hector Macho Camacho and the very tough Tony Baltazar, formerly of Los Angeles, now of Scottsdale, Arizona. For more on this, back to HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant.
Veteran sports writer said to a promoter, "Please tell me it's not true that weasel Camacho is getting $1 million for this fight." The promoter looked at him and said, "Watch what you say. That weasel sells a lot of tickets." So the only point of departure in the boxing community is not over what Hector Camacho is, it's what his value is. He will make tonight 4 times what Meldrick Taylor did, 2 times what Pernell Whitaker will, even though both of those fighters probably would be favored over him if they fought him. Why is all of this so? It's because either you love Hector Camacho and his antics, or you would love to see him get beaten, one of the other. The experts feel he has squandered a great talent by spending more time promoting himself than fighting. In the last 5 years, he's averaged 2 fights a year, most of those bad fights against indifferent opponents. But Hector Camacho has caused a traffic jam out here, has sold out this town. And what expert has done that?
I'm unique in my own ways. I really am. I'm like a Bruce Lee. I'm unique. I was born to be Macho Camacho.
I'm different, don't care who knows it. Something about me, not the same yet. I'm different, that's how it goes. Ain't gonna play your goddamn game. Got a different way of walking. I got a different kind of smile. I got a different way of talking. Drives the women kind of wild. Kind of wild.
Now the Macho Man is here, and I'm putting order in my way, and anybody that get in front of me, boom, get in line, because I'm the Macho Man.
He's different. They don't care who knows it. Something about him, not the same yet. He's different. That's how it goes. He's not gonna play your gosh darn game. I ain't saying I'm better than you are, but maybe I am. I only know that when I look in the mirror, I like the man. We like the man. I'm different, and I don't care who knows it. Something about me, not the same yet. I'm different, that's how it goes. Ain't gonna play your goddamn game. He's different, and you don't care who knows it. Something about him, not the same. He's different, that's how it goes. And he's not gonna play your gosh darn game. I'm different, and don't care who knows it. Something about him, not the same yet. I'm different, that's how it goes. Ain't gonna play no boss man's game.
Understatement of the year. Hector Camacho is different. And of course, for the past 3.5 years, there are those who say the biggest moment of drama in any Camacho fight is his exit from his dressing room when you get to see what he's going to wear into the ring. Will it be a tutu? Will it be a dress? Will he carry a purse? Nope. He has a mask on, a feathered mask. And he has a championship belt wrapped around a bikini with some sort of a dangling frock. And it has fringe.
Well, you've heard of Fort Apache in the Bronx. Well, here is this upper Manhattan raised fighter who actually lives in a house on an Indian reservation down in Florida in the Everglades. So I guess that's why he has turned to feathers.
And some say that his punches are like feathers.
You like that line, don't you?
I love that line. But there was a time earlier in his career when he hit harder than he does now.
One of the things I wonder is whether he hasn't slowed down just a little bit at 140 pounds, and whether he may not be planting his feet more and actually throwing harder punches, as he did early in his career. But he just has a different agenda than most fighters. Most fighters want to be the best they can be. They want to be great fighters. Camacho wants to be known as an entertainer, wants to make a lot of money.
and he's making it work for him.
38 wins, no losses. He has fought with increasing infrequency in the past 3.5 years. Surely the high water mark was a very tough 12-round decision over the able Edwin Rosario in Madison Square Garden back in the spring of 1986. After that, there was a victory over Cornelius Boza Edwards several months later. And at that point, Camacho complained that he couldn't make the lightweight weight limit anymore. He gave up his world championship and moved up to 140 pounds.
And meanwhile, in fact, he's been training on Slim Fast twice a day to make 140 pounds, which is part of the complaint about him. He isn't a really serious man about his fighting and getting in shape.
Well, he doesn't make Tony Baltazar mad with his clowning as he steps in front of the camera to obscure our shot of Baltazar. And there's the record of the man who regards himself as the hardest puncher in the 140-pound weight class, and it may be a justifiable claim.
That's right. He knocked Howard Davis down twice. And in fact, he and Camacho did a lot of sparring when Camacho spent a couple of years out here in California.
Ray Leonard's tip of the night. What will these two fighters try to do with each other, Ray?
Well, Tony Baltazar claims his right hand is very deceptive, a very deceptive punch. But when he doubles up on the left hook to the body and then up to the head, it's like a tranquilizer. He's able to put guys away with no problem at all. Now, one thing about Baltazar, if he should wait for Camacho, he's going to take a lot of leather, because here, as he waits, he accepts a couple jabs in the face. So he better not wait for Camacho. Now, as far as Camacho is concerned, Camacho has the greatest legs to get him in and out of trouble. And when he uses lateral movement, he's able to throw off the balance of any guy he faces. Now, if Camacho gets against a rope or in a corner, he's going to find out that these guys in the heavyweight category punches a lot harder.
Tail of the tape, Camacho's 27, Tony Baltazar's 29, and has been a professional fighter for 12 years. He took 2 years off at one point. They both weighed in at exactly 140. Tony Baltazar, the slightly bigger physical specimen with a 2.5-inch reach advantage.
And here are their most recent fights against fairly stiff opposition. Camacho throwing more punches. Baltazar throws harder punches. And that is reflected in the number of jabs they throw. Camacho mostly throws jabs. Baltazar will throw evenly between jabs, but he's looking to set up the big punch.
Rules for the bout: 3 judges scoring the fight, 10-point must system, no standing 8 count, 3 knockdown rule in effect, saved by the bell in the last round only because Camacho is recognized as a champion by an organization named the World Boxing Organization, to which we at HBO pay little or no attention. The bout is scheduled for 12 rounds. Right now we go to the ring announcer, Jim Hall, for the pre-fight introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization, President Dr. Ramon Pina Acevedo, Supervisor Alberto Aleman, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Dr. James Nave, Chairman, Commissioners Dwayne Ford, Dr. Elias Ghanem, Jay Nady, and Luther Mack. Executive Director is Chuck Minker. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Caesars Tahoe, this match is scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Junior Welterweight Championship of the World. The referee for this contest is Richard Steele. Introducing first the challenger in the blue corner. This young man is wearing the black trunks with the silver trim. He weighs 140 pounds. He's from Scottsdale, Arizona, with a record of 35 wins, 3 losses and 1 draw, with 28 wins by knockout. He's the number 5 ranked challenger. Here's Tony the Tiger Baltazar. And now, fighting out of the red corner, he's wearing the black trunks with the red trim. He weighs 140 pounds. He's from Big Cypress, Florida, and he is undefeated with a record of 38 wins, no losses, with 16 wins by knockout. Here's the WBO Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Hector Macho Camacho.
All right, Tony. Camacho.
Okay. I gave both of you guys instruction in dressing room. I'm cautioning now. I want a good, clean fight. I want you to obey my commands at all times. Okay? Obey my commands at all times. Let's take the belt off.
No, I don't want to. Keep ours.
Okay, shake hands. Good luck.
Baltazar has had good fighters down, but he hasn't been able to close the deal. We'll see if he can get Camacho down and if he can close the deal. If he can't hurt Camacho, get him down.
Right.
Camacho just has too much quickness for him.
And in case you've been away from the sports scene for a few years and have not noticed that haircut styles have evolved among young Americans in some unusual ways, consider yourself now fully educated. This may be the all-time haircut fight on HBO. Camacho, of course, is a southpaw. Baltazar fights out of conventional stance, but says that he does everything else left-handed.
What's going to make the difference here is Camacho's movement. And plus, being quick and being a southpaw makes it quite difficult for a fighter to set up a punch. So with Baltazar, he has to get inside, and the way to get inside is to use his jab to get closer to Camacho. What Baltazar wants to do is to get Camacho in a corner or against the ropes and work his body, slow his legs down.
Many observers thought that Camacho's victory over Benny Pacienza earlier this year was his most aggressive performance in 4 years. It'll be interesting to see tonight how important he thinks it might be to try to look like an aggressive prize fighter in front of this audience.
You notice how Camacho is using the ring, Jim. He's taking the balance away from Baltazar. Baltazar can't get set.
Richard Steele grabs Baltazar and tells him to guard against holding Camacho. Camacho lands a straight left, which is the best punch of the round so far. And another.
This is what Baltazar wants to do. Get Camacho in the corner and work his body. Take away his legs.
Don't hold him, don't hold him. Once you get out of there.
There's a body shot thrown by Baltazar. He needs more of those. He can't just go one shot.
Baltazar stepping in behind right-hand leads. Camacho has been effective with the straight left. And lo and behold, Camacho on 3 or 4 occasions now has stepped forward to meet Baltazar. There was a time earlier in his career when that wouldn't have been news.
Well, Baltazar can't match the hand speed of Camacho, but what he can do to neutralize that is try to get Camacho in trouble. Try to land one of those big punches.
That was a good round for Camacho. He used his quickness to get into punching range in that round rather than to avoid punches.
Here you go. Move to the left, jab. When you get in the middle, you got to be first before, like we worked out, okay? I want you to keep your left, to the left. To the left. You got to hit that body. And the right hand come back with a hook. You're walking back, you're swinging back when he throws the jab. No, don't do that. Go forward, left hand. On the bottom, come back to the top. Use the right hand and spin out. Just move, move.
Throw your jab. Repeat your jab. When you pull it back, throw, and he won't ever see it. Move him a lot. Throw the uppercut.
Hector Camacho listens to 2 voices in his corner. One is that of trainer Rudy Mata. The other is manager and advisor Patrick Flannery. Actually, Camacho lists himself as his real manager. Tony Baltazar listens to the voice of veteran Los Angeles trainer Jimmy Montoya. Good left hand by Camacho.
That was a beautiful combination by Camacho. Moving up in weight, Camacho has not lost his speed. You notice the way he used that lateral position, left and right. In fact, Baltazar can't find him.
Punch to get out there. Don't hold him. Punch to get out. Oh, great. Step back. Get the hand back.
Richard Steele admonishing the fighters not to hold and clinch inside, but to punch and get out. One thing to look for, Larry Merchant pointed out that Hector Camacho, trained on a diet of Slim Fast, has had trouble making the 140-pound weight just as he did at 135. How will that affect him if they go the long haul, if they go 12 rounds at this altitude? Baltazar trained here for 4 full weeks.
Camacho's speed, and when he especially doubles up on his jab, it breaks the rhythm of Baltazar. Baltazar really can't get his punches in there because he never knows when he can set. Camacho's so quick. A good left hook by Baltazar, but he needs to throw more of those punches. He needs to double that left hook up.
Incidentally, in what has to be seen as one of the neatest ironies in sports, the M on Hector Camacho's frock stands for macho. Solid left hand by Camacho, and Baltazar ducked away.
Don't hold him.
I think it was Larry Merchant at whom Hector nodded.
You see the jab of Baltazar. It's not a light jab. It's a very strong jab. But he needs to throw it more often to get inside, to get close to his man. Camacho can do so much when he doubles up on his jab.
All right, break. Step up. Right.
Ahí está el maestro. Ahí está el maestro.
There you are. You're the master.
Muy bien, muy bien.
You're doing very good.
Perfecto. Ese hombre, como lo está counteando, se te va a entregar solito. Solito se te va a entregar.
He's going to come to you all by himself. He's going to give himself to you.
That jab is fabulous. Just
The
keep
jab is
jabbing,
fabulous.
nice, moving around, relaxing, be an easy night.
Cuando te jalas, que te viene derechito, estírale López. Lo vas a aprender.
I want you to body check and I want you to go to the office, okay? Both hands. Stop the bullshit. Don't be... You gotta work, man. You want a title, you gotta work. He's got the title. Okay? Give me a little grease. You're all right. Don't worry about it. Here we go. Here we go. No fist.
As we begin round 3, one of punch stats' more dramatic statistical differences. Baltazar has thrown 21 jabs in the fight and landed 3. Camacho has thrown 105 jabs in the fight and landed 30.
You notice the stance of Baltazar. As he gets closer, he really can't get his balance. Good body shot there. Because on a southpaw, the key to getting leverage, proper leverage, is keeping your left foot outside his right foot. That's where you get leverage. You notice when his left foot is inside Camacho's stance, he's off balance.
Don't hold him. Break. Keep your head from the back of his neck.
Left hand again knocked Baltazar back a little bit. Camacho begins to use the ring a little better and stay off the ropes. The first minute of this round, he was on the ropes a lot. And that is where he is at his least effective and where Baltazar is at his most effective.
Well, that's what Baltazar wants. He wants Camacho to park against a rope or in a corner so he can get his punches off.
Right.
But what happens here, when Camacho goes against the rope or corner, he ties his man up. Very smart.
Come on, punch the guy, break.
Baltazar chases Camacho into the corner and lands a left to the ribcage. Camacho not as busy in this round, particularly not with the jab.
What the Baltazar corner is banking on is the fact that this altitude will have an effect on Camacho. So it's not having an effect on his punches.
Right. We're doing a better day.
Okay. You gotta fake because when you're in the middle, mijo, you gotta throw right into the chest. 1, 2, come back with an uppercut. You gotta get him with an uppercut. You gotta go to the body. You gotta slow him down. You throw one punch at a time like he said. I don't want that shit. And don't be waiting. You go up there. No. You put them together or get the hell out of there. Okay? Give me a little more grease.
A brawler has to try to slow down a dancer and a boxer, and that's what Baltazar was trying in that round as he landed a good double left hook to the body. But of course, Macho is much quicker. A good straight left hand right to the forehead of Baltazar.
And ever the promoter, Camacho makes eye contact with the camera and says Macho time while sitting on his stool. This is a battle of Hector Camacho's jab against Tony Baltazar's power shot. And round 4 begins the way round 3 began, with Baltazar chasing Camacho against the ropes.
What Baltazar needs to do also is to make Camacho work every minute of every round. Just keep pushing him back. Keep pushing him back. Hoping he'll run out of fuel.
Right. Come on, keep it clean.
When Hector gets tired, and particularly when he thinks he's ahead on points, as he usually is, he will grab and run. Grab and run.
Baltazar should stay downstairs. It's difficult to hit Camacho's head right now. I think he needs to concentrate more so on the body shot, the body attack.
He needs to stay busier, too. He's just not working Hector enough.
He's posing too much, Jim, and that's a problem. And while he's posing, Camacho's scoring.
Another stretch in which Camacho is doing all the landing. They're in the middle of the ring, where Baltazar is almost completely ineffective.
What's happening with Baltazar? He's starting to reach in. Camacho's counter. You see there, Camacho counter with the left hand. He's making Baltazar reach in.
Jabbing, 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 with great accuracy so far.
Right. Watch your head.
A near headbutt there. You saw Baltazar's head snap back. Camacho got up inside him a little bit.
Right. Don't hold it. Don't hold and hit. Last one. Let's go.
The referee gave Camacho a last warning, said no more holding and hitting.
Get out of there. Punch to get out. Right. Come on.
I'm looking forward to that right hand that Baltazar says he has. He's yet to throw it.
Marvelous hand speed by Camacho. Another good round for Hector. Coming up later, Pernell Whitaker will try to unify the lightweight title for the first time in 12 years. His opponent, WBA champion Juan Nazario, the man who upset fellow Puerto Rican Edwin Rosario to take that title several months ago.
Harold, how do you have it? Larry, one of the most one-sided fights I ever saw. 4-0, 40-36 favor Hector Camacho. I mean, Tony Baltazar just didn't come to fight so far. He'll throw one punch. In the meantime, Camacho's finessing him to death. Beautiful movement, combinations, the good right jab. For southpaw, Camacho goes both ways beautifully.
Thank you, Harold.
Here we
go, Rudy. Go.
I guess we know how you score the fight.
Count the punches.
It is a one-note fight right now, and if Camacho can sustain his energy, there's no reason it shouldn't continue. He has uncommon energy. He's not like almost anybody else I've ever seen.
As he himself says, I'm different. Camacho is making a lot of eye contact with people at ringside, and he seems particularly interested to know what Larry Merchant thinks of this performance. He has looked at you dead on from punching situations about 4 times, Larry.
Well, I don't think he was happy that I reported before this fight that the experts, and of course I'm among them,
Punch to get out of there. Don't hold it.
feel that he has never fulfilled all of his promise, and that he's overpaid compared to other fighters of similar talent, but that he gets paid because he is so controversial or colorful.
Well, you appear to have provided him with considerable motivation. He's fighting for your benefit.
The referee still just warned Camacho if he should do it one more time, hold and hit, he's going to take a point from him.
Well, if you believe Harold Letterman, and I'm sure many people do, Hector can afford it.
Well, he's built up such an early lead here against Baltazar. Getting those combinations in, because Baltazar has yet to get inside it with Camacho. Very few occasions he's been able to deliver those body shots.
Not for any sustained length of time and not long enough to land combinations.
Well, you'll notice when Baltazar comes in, if he's to land a punch, Camacho retaliates with about 3 or 4 punch combinations. You know, for Baltazar to attempt to outbox Camacho is like someone trying to beat John McEnroe at the net. He can't do that. Look at the jab by Camacho. Beautiful. That's a beautiful uppercut.
Beautiful left hand.
From the outside. Because normally when guys throw an uppercut, it's normally inside. Camacho threw that from the outside.
And a trickle of blood from the left side of Baltazar's nose. Just a slight one. Camacho knocking Baltazar back with the back of his right hand as he flicks the jab.
You know what I hate, Ray? At the end of each round, Baltazar has been nodding to Camacho.
like a sparring partner.
These are not two fighters who
good
dislike
round.
each other.
Well, how do you win that way?
It's like the sparring partner's mentality. He's going to always be our sparring partner.
Well, we hope you're enjoying this, and we ask you to be with us on August 27 when HBO Sports will present the Record Breakers of Sport. We'll look at some of the greatest performances in sports history as remembered by the record-setting athletes themselves. You'll hear from Hank Aaron. You'll hear from Mark Spitz, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, Gordie Howe, many others. August 27 on HBO, the Record Breakers of Sport. Be with us then.
Loading up, don't load up. You're fighting out the middle. You don't fight it left forward, man. You got to travel to your left, come back with a jab, right hand to the body, come back. You got to get close to me, one inside. Don't try to easy.
Back him up and kill him.
Round 6 of a scheduled 12 as Hector Camacho defends a 140-pound title which has been bestowed on him by an organization called the World Boxing Organization. We at HBO pay attention to 3 boxing governing bodies: the World Boxing Association, the World Boxing Council, the International Boxing Federation, and we have not yet seen fit to recognize the WBO in quite the same way. So we don't call this a title bout.
Right, let him go, let him go, let him go. Come on, Tony.
Baltazar is just not busy enough for me. He's not doing enough. He's not making Camacho work enough. Camacho's just having a field day. Just throwing his jab. He's fighting. Camacho's fighting when he wants to fight.
Hold on to him.
Well, Camacho planted his feet and threw 5 or 6 punches in a row, but they were not heavy blows. And again, Hector Camacho pauses to stare at Larry Merchant.
I'm so glad to be providing motivation for Hector Camacho.
I was about to say it, Larry. I think you're making him fight better.
I wonder if I'm in for a piece of his courage.
Can you get him to try for a knockout?
Come on, let's keep him up. Keep him up.
I could not believe that. Camacho stood there against the rope, and Baltazar did nothing.
Come on, punch and get on him.
But you said it, sparring partners mentality. That appears to be the way Tony's fighting.
In fact, talking with Tony yesterday, he said, well, you know, when I sparred with Camacho, I didn't want to show him up. I took my time, didn't really work hard. He's doing the same thing here.
Well, this is the wrong place not to want to show him up.
Well, he's not doing too much here. They just clouded his hands again.
And the crowd goes nuts as finally Baltazar throws 2 body shots on the rope.
Punch to get out. Punch to get out here.
Baltazar, when he's inside, I don't know why he's not throwing body shots. He's right there.
2 in a row again. Full-scale applause from the audience. Walloping right hand. And the 2 fighters congratulate each other as if they have just played on the same team in the World Series and won Game 6.
Well, fair enough. I guess Camacho was saying, good punch. You got me that time. But they are trying to take each other's heads off. It's just that I think in this kind of a fight that Baltazar has to be as mean as possible and throw everything with mean intentions. And acknowledging that the other guy is doing a good job on him makes the other guy feel good.
I don't give a damn. I love him. I'm best friend. Don't care who knows this.
Hector's fight is half over. You got 6 more rounds to go. This is the 7th round coming up. You're way ahead.
Relax a little bit.
Boxing's beautiful.
There it is. It landed behind the ear. It was not a flush punch.
All right, keep it clean. Next time, it's going to be a point.
Steele wants to deduct a point for illegal fighting. What the heck, Richard? It appears they could work it out between themselves. Why interpose your authority?
You notice whenever Baltazar steps in, Camacho pops him with the right jab, rather, because he's southpaw. I don't see any head feints from Baltazar. He needs to start trying to confuse Camacho. In fact, he's being a stationary target. And that's why Camacho is having a field day.
Baltazar misses with the left. Camacho stares at Larry Merchant.
Step back.
The hand speed of Camacho is incredible. He puts his combinations together so well.
What would a Taylor-Camacho bout look like?
Oh, it'd be a buzzsaw. It'd be a great fight. A lot of punches thrown.
Keep him in. Keep him in. Break. Step back. Step back.
Who'd win?
Keep him in. Keep him in.
Be a great fight, Jim.
Right, step back, step back.
But you know, Jim, getting back to that question about who will win the fight between Camacho and Taylor, it'd be a toss-up. Both guys are capable.
Wouldn't Taylor be the more aggressive fighter?
And I believe somewhat stronger of the two.
That's right. Lingo. Lingo Camacho.
7 rounds complete now between Hector Camacho and Tony Baltazar in an apparently dominant Camacho performance. Looking very much like the man who easily disposed of Benny Pazienza earlier this year. More aggressive than on many occasions in recent years. Earlier tonight, Meldrick Taylor made his first appearance in the ring since the misfortune of 5 months ago when he suffered his first career loss against Julio Cesar Chavez. Another tough opponent tonight in Primo Ramos, particularly in the first 4 rounds, provided a lot of opposition for Taylor and stunned him with a low blow in the 7th round, which caused a long delay in the bout. But Meldrick Taylor, with hand speed and combinations like that, ultimately gained control and cruised to an impressive unanimous decision victory over Ramos. So Meldrick Taylor is back, and we go to Harold Letterman's scorecard.
Larry, very quickly, 7-0, 70-63, all Hector Camacho. He's just much too quick, and Baltazar hasn't gone to work yet.
Maybe I should have said something nasty about Baltazar.
All right. Time.
Well, we asked the question in our opening segment, which Camacho would show up tonight. So far, it has been the one whom fight fans can respect as a fighter who is committed and tries to win with legitimately destructive punches. Not the guy who grabbed and ran and held and danced so frequently in the past 4 years. After the glove adjustment for Camacho, Baltazar landed one right hand. But it's been 1 punch at a time for Tony and 5 at a time for Hector Camacho.
Baltazar takes too much time trying to get set. And if you trying to get set, Camacho punches him.
based on this performance, although Baltazar looks thick and muscular for a 140-pounder, I'm not sure that he lives up to his own self-assessment as the hardest puncher in this division.
I wouldn't agree with that either, because I think that what's happened with Baltazar, because he's been able to put a few guys down with the left hook, he has not been able to get guys out of there once he puts them down.
Come on, work it. All right, great, step back. You're holding a little too much.
I think, for instance, that with the right hand, Roger Mayweather is a harder puncher.
I would say, because Mayweather gets those straight shots in there in his whole body.
Punch it, get out of there. Punch it, get out. Let him go. Come on, let him go. Punch it, get out.
Maybe Chavez, too.
All right, great. Step back, step back.
I really expected more for Baltazar, especially when Camacho would cooperate and get in the corner. You'll notice now that as Baltazar comes in with his head down, Camacho will throw more uppercuts.
Baltazar decides to get aggressive as the bell sounds. But round 8 is complete.
Yeah. Why don't you go out there and street fight? You're not tired, and you know you're not tired. Your baby's waiting for this belt. You're a man, aren't you? You got the huevos? Yeah. Okay, you're holding your punches. Go get it on. Don't get in the middle. We showed you what to do. You got to go to the left. Don't stay in the middle and don't try and go in there without a punch. You have got to throw punches going in. Otherwise, forget it.
Okay, I'm telling both fighters.
Boxing.
Muy bien. Sí, está moviendo mucho.
Keep on moving a lot. Throw your jab.
Next time done, I'm taking a punch. Okay?
Nothing being done. Let's be cool. Let's go.
Here's Camacho as he throws an uppercut. He's so quick that he can improvise any punch at any time, especially when he's in control as he is now.
Camacho again working off the jab, but beginning to get more aggressive. In the last round, 14 of his 25 punches landed were power shots. Not all the jab anymore.
Baltazar's corner, excuse me, Jim, is not too pleased with him because it says just don't go in there with your head, throw a punch, and work your way in.
Now, you got to hand it to Jimmy Montoya. He's being honest with his fighter and making a real effort to give him the goods to turn it around. And there's a low blow. And now it is Camacho, who has 5 minutes, if necessary, to recover from this.
Richard Steele has penalized Baltazar a point. It hardly matters at this time because he has to win by a knockout anyway, but he did penalize him a point.
And Steele had told both fighters between rounds that one more incident would produce the penalty.
Don't hold him.
Baltazar has a little nick under the right eye. It's not bleeding, but it would open up if Camacho hits it solidly.
Good, come back. Step back, let him go. Go hold him. Just like you don't know. Punch to get out of there, break.
When they stand and face each other, Camacho's hand speed is just too much for Tony Baltazar.
What Camacho's doing, he's just doing what he wants to do. I mean, when Baltazar comes in there, Camacho throws combinations and stands directly in front of him. Baltazar's worked his point. He walked straight towards Camacho. No head feint, no jab to get him inside. Just walked straight in.
He got Camacho onto the ropes and threw one, count him, one body shot. That is not what Jimmy Montoya was asking for between rounds. And it gives you a sense of how frustrating it can be to fight Hector Camacho. We'll see an even more elusive quarry in the next bout as Juan Nazario searches for Pernell Whitaker.
That's going to be a task.
Come on, don't hold it. Right, step back. Right, step back, Tony. Let go. Come on, work inside to get out. Come on, you guys. Let's go, Tony. Work. Let's go. Don't hold it. Don't hold it. Don't hold it. Right. Get the tape.
Richard Steele, who is calling an extra fight here, is trying to get a fight on just like everybody else in the audience, but without much success. There's the low blow. Camacho leaps up with a scream.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
You look like Ray Leonard and Willie Pep. Sugar Ray Leonard and Willie Pep. That's you, buddy.
Hurry.
Good, man.
Perfecto. Muévamelo en este centésimo. Y nosotros dos estamos acá.
Dígame una manopla en combinations, just one punch.
Sometimes you've thought that Hector Camacho was preparing for the Tour de France in his fights. Now I'd have to say he's preparing more for an eventual showdown with Chavez. That's so beautiful. He hurt Baltazar there.
This is great stuff. This is vintage Camacho from early in his career when he was a fighter and not just a dancer. He's been good tonight.
He is actually taking apart Baltazar. He's beat him to the body, beat him to the head. He's not being there. He's been elusive. Combinations, good short shots, frustration on the face of Tony Baltazar.
If Baltazar had only been more resolute, more committed, and more aggressive, this might go down as the best Camacho performance since 1986.
Because of the accumulation of these punches thrown by Camacho, it's wearing down Baltazar. Now, if Camacho really wants to get serious, if he settles down a little bit more, he'll find himself putting much more power and destruction on Baltazar.
A knockout for Camacho, if it were to take place, would be thoroughly unexpected and highly impressive.
Well, he's trying to settle down now.
Punch to get out. Right, come back. Don't hold him, work.
Camacho works better against Baltazar in the center of the ring.
Come on, protect yourself.
Because Baltazar can't get in there.
Don't hold him. Punch to get out there. Come on, your hands have got to be free.
Wow, a three-punch combination from Baltazar on the ropes.
Keep him up. Keep his hands back. Great. Don't hold it.
Target practice with the jab, a good straight left, another series of combinations for Camacho.
Those were some beautiful combinations thrown by Hector Camacho. Very crisp punches, sharp punches, very accurate punches.
Most impressive round I've seen in fights since the fight against Cornelia Boza Edwards back in 1986.
He's allowing Baltazar to reach in, and then in doing so, Camacho's able to counter. It's a beautiful execution of boxing for Camacho. Very impressive. Yeah.
Coming up in our third bout of the evening, Pernell Whitaker with 2 championship belts against Juan Nazario, who has one of his own, as they will unify the lightweight championship. There has not been an individual unified lightweight champion since 12 years ago when Roberto Duran defeated Esteban de Jesus to hold that distinction.
2 more good rounds to go, okay? Keep it clean. What are you going to do?
You got 2 rounds to win to start that fight, huh?
Gotta work.
You got to knock him out.
Gotta work. You can't be holding back. Let it go. If you're not...
And here is that flurry in the middle of the round, a brilliant flurry. It looks like a Porsche going against a pickup truck.
You're too good.
And the race is over.
Brilliant.
El último round. El 11.
Keep your hands in. Punch to get out of there. Let's go. Break. Nobody. Keep your hand in. Keep your hand in. Punch to get out of there. Break. Don't hold him. Break. Come on, punch to get out of there, you guys. Let's work. Let's work. Come on, Camacho. Don't hold him. Don't hold him.
This is the first round 11 of Tony Baltazar's long career. Been a professional since 1979.
Let's work. Let's work. Yeah.
There is such a significant difference as far as the hand speed of Camacho and Baltazar. I mean, Camacho hit this man 4 or 5 times before Baltazar was able to land one. Look at the jab and the uppercuts.
Don't hold him. Don't hold him. Right. Keep him in. Keep him in.
Baltazar is trying to throw a left hook, he should throw at least 2 or 3 of them. Because one punch is not going to find Camacho.
Why should he change his pattern now? It's working so well for him, Ray.
He's been very consistent. Baltazar has been.
He's been consistent, all right.
Very consistent.
One at a time. Baltazar came in behind what he thought was a good right. Camacho swatted him around a little bit.
When a guy fights this way, like Camacho is, this is what you call a perfect execution of boxing.
Great. Keep your hands from back on his neck.
Be interesting to see how the crowd greets this. They weren't happy with Meldrick Taylor in what was an outstanding boxing performance. Hector has spent a lot of time backing up.
All right, let's go to the corner. Let's get in the corner.
Okay, you're doing it, Pat. You got it. You're doing it. Great move. Thank you.
I think he has to provide an earpiece for Camacho during this fight so that he can monitor what we're saying.
Well, just so the crowd will know what happened, Hector decided to come to this corner directly above our announce position, leaned against the ropes and stared at Larry Merchant some more rather than to go to his own corner.
He's very smart.
Get it on.
you're playing too beautiful.
Un paseo, ya no te pongas para nada, no te pongas.
Harold, give us your almost final summation.
Larry, 11 rounds to nothing, 110 to 98. Camacho just popping him with the right jab and moving. All Hector Camacho with a beautiful exhibition of boxing.
You'll get no argument from anyone, least of all Baltazar.
And in what should be a considerably more dramatic confrontation than what has taken place here in the ring, very shortly, Larry Merchant will climb into the ring to do an apparent winner's interview with Hector Macho Camacho.
That should be tough in the fight.
It's a moment I would imagine that even Hector has given some thought to already.
I think he's probably spent the last 6 rounds thinking about it.
Last round.
He's had time to, Larry.
Well, how do you feel, Larry? Have you trained for this?
Don't hold it, Camacho. Come on, keep it back.
Baltazar still cannot get any punches off of Camacho. Only my whole life, John.
No hold.
Come on, punching it out.
There's been no problem for Camacho with his stamina. Maybe he just didn't get the kind of test that would have proven whether he was really ready to fight at this altitude.
Oh, he got the test, Jim, because he's been working for the entire 12 rounds.
Yeah, he's done everything he could. There's absolutely nothing to discredit about Hector Camacho's performance, I don't think. You agree, Ray?
Yes, a perfect fight. In fact, there's one of the few times that Baltazar landed a punch. Wasn't a clean punch, sort of a grazing left hook.
A slap, as much as anything.
Step back, let him go. Come on, work it out. Let's work.
Baltazar's trainer, Jimmy Montoya, who worked so hard in the middle rounds to try to rejuvenate his fighter, is now leaning lazily on one elbow and watching with what amounts to disgust and boredom, occasionally yelling some perfunctory instruction to Baltazar. Kind of stuff that Tony hasn't really been able to act upon all night.
Come on, Tony, punch it out. Come on.
Richard Steele hasn't given up.
Step back. Watch your head. Don't hold.
Camacho's landed punches at will. Watch when he stops 1-2, 1-2. I mean,
Punching it out.
Whatever he wants to do, Camacho can do it. He's done that. A great show of boxing by Camacho.
And Hector Camacho now prepares for his post-fight interview with Larry Merchant, at whom he issued one final lingering cold stare as he circled the ring in apparent victory. I can't wait. Good look at Tony Baltazar. 29 wins and 3 losses coming in. Final punch stat numbers in this one-sided show. Camacho's throwing 306 more attempts than did Baltazar, and landing, check it out, 229 more punches in 12 rounds. That's an average margin of almost 20 landed punches per round for Hector Camacho. Now, a lot of them were jabs, but you don't discount the effect of those because they help to keep Baltazar from scoring the kinds of combinations that might have turned things around. A shutout, Harold?
Baltazar the last round, I guess it was a little
gave
generous.
him the last round?
119 to 108. Hector Camacho, I thought Hector dogged it a little in the last round. 119, 108.
So you didn't really give Baltazar the last round. You took it away from Camacho, right?
I thought so.
All right, let's go up to the ring announcer, Jim Hall, for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Caesars Tahoe, we have a unanimous decision. Judge Cindy Barton scores it 117-110. Judge Keith McDonald scores it 118-109. And Judge Doug Tucker scores it 118-109. Winner by unanimous decision, and still WBO Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Hector Macho Camacho.
Well, Hector was roundly booed down the road in Reno a year and a half ago when he won a controversial decision against Ray Mancini in Mancini's comeback bout after 4 years away from the ring. He does not get any negativity from the crowd tonight in his obvious unanimous decision victory over Baltazar. And now here we go. This is what we've been building toward apparently for 12 rounds. Larry?
Okay, Hector, how do you feel about that fight? It was almost or virtually a shutout, perhaps one of your most dominant fights in a very long time.
Well, everything is going with timing. Since I came back, it took hell to get my skills and my sharpness back. At the part of the end, the fight really showed me that I was getting it back. This one, definitely. We're getting ready for Julio Chavez. We're just going to get one more fight in November, and then in March, we get Chavez, and I'm going to retire undefeated. Larry, I keep telling you, I'm going to be just like Ray Leonard. I beat the odds all the time. It's my time. I deserve it. A lot of people, they criticize me. They always try to down me and stuff, and I'm constantly trying to give them a show for their money. You said that Weasel don't deserve $1 million. Well, it's Mr. Weasel, okay? And I think I do deserve it.
Well, I didn't say it.
Yeah, sure you did, Larry. I still love you, Larry. I still love you.
Well, but you seem to use me for motivation in this fight, and I want a piece of your purse.
Well, how, 1%?
Well, just tell me about Chavez. A lot of people have felt that you were ducking and dodging him for a long time. What are your thoughts about him as a fighter and how you would fight him?
Well, the Taylor fight, okay, it'll be the wrong fight to fight. Listen to me, I'm a master, I'm telling you. That's why I'm performing this way, but to perform this, I gotta be strong and sharp. And this is one of the indications that I was strong, I was able to do everything I do. This is what I have to fight. A lot of lateral movement and great defense for this guy, because who does this is from the old school? He'll break you from down up, but only if you stay in front of him. You need to give a lot of fake, a lot of movement, quick combination, not just leg movement, but hand movement.
You seem to be more willing now to use your speed to get into good punching positions so that you can use the quickness of your hands.
Well, Larry, I was out for a year and a half. The last fight I had on HBO was with Nazario, which was one of my worst nights. I beat him in my worst night, I beat him. He came over and Chavez made a hero out of him. Chavez been beating nothing but the fighters they already beat. But then again, while Chavez came around, I took a hideout. And then it grew because everybody was getting beat.
So you admit that you weren't anxious to fight Chavez before, but now you think you're getting to a point where you should.
Well, it's not that I should. I don't have to. I'm popular as it is. I make money as it is. He haven't done nothing to me. He's a great man. But that's my only revenge in the boxing business, to be the great fighter like him, and after I'll be like Ray Leonard when he beat Marvin Hagler.
Thank you very much, Hector.
Macho time! Kill him now! Kill him now! Kill him! Put that TV there!
All right, Ray and Jim.
That was great. That was a mark of what a good-spirited, humorous, and in many ways impeccably nice human being Hector can be. Would he have a chance against Julio Cesar Chavez?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he proved that tonight. That was a magnificent exhibition of boxing for Camacho. I was totally disappointed with Tony Baltazar. I thought Baltazar should have did more, worked a little more aggressive, with more serious conviction. Did nothing.
Do you think if he demands to get $4 million to fight Chavez that such a fight will take place?
Well, you know, it's always about the economy and about the dollars, but I think Camacho is proven he's one of the best guys out there.
Larry? Well, that was fun for you, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And I think it shows that he bleeds. He's human, and he bleeds when he's stuck a little bit. And if the function in the infinite scheme of things of critics is to bring an artist to his best, maybe the criticism of a lot of fight people, myself included, is going to bring out the best in him.
You certainly were not alone, and in fact, I share your sentiment about everything that's gone on with Camacho for the past 3 years. Well, we've waded through 2 outstanding performances now to get to the one bout of the evening that we recognize as a championship fight. And here it comes, the third of our triple header fights tonight on HBO.
Like a jigsaw puzzle, the unification of a boxing title fits together an intricate patchwork of pieces to create one champion. The unification of the lightweight division began in February 1989, when a speedy southpaw named Pernell Whitaker unanimously decisioned IBF champion Greg Haugen. In August, a second piece would fall into place when this Norfolk native and 1984 Olympic gold medalist avenged his only professional loss against WBC champion Jose Luis Ramirez. In 6 months, Whitaker had won 2 lightweight titles, both by unanimous decision. This April, the 135-pound division grew one step closer to consolidating its championship when Puerto Rican southpaw Juan Nazario upset his countryman and WBA champ Edwin Rosario after an unintentional 7th-round headbutt. Nazario, the other half of the equation, which will be solved in this evening's lightweight unification bout. So tonight, when all is said and done, only one man will reign as the lightweight champion of the world, as Pernell Whitaker of Norfolk, Virginia, takes on Juan Nazario of Puerto Rico in a title fight scheduled for 12 rounds. So now, as the sun sets on the 23-mile-long sparkling blue water of Lake Tahoe, it is time for our main event, the unification of the lightweight championship. The 135-pound division hasn't had an undisputed champion since Roberto Duran back in 1978. But by the end of this evening, the crown will again belong to one man, as 2 champions, Pernell Whitaker and Juan Nazario, put their titles on the line in the unification of the lightweight division. And now we prepare to look at the young man who, after his near shutout decision victories in the last 2 years over Greg Haugen, Jose Luis Ramirez, and Azuma Nelson, is being called by many writers the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world at this moment. Ray, of course, I'm talking about Pernell Whitaker. Is it too early in his career for writers and critics of the sport to be putting that kind of pressure on him?
Well, it's a great responsibility, but one thing about Pernell Whitaker, every time he steps into that ring, he has a tendency to solidify that claim.
With his dazzling style, and tonight he goes against Larry Merchant, a guy whose style is not necessarily dazzling, but certainly dogged.
Nazario is an odd duck. He's built like a crane. He fights like a vulture or maybe a fighting cock because he actually trains fighting cocks back in Puerto Rico. He'll bite you, he'll butt you, he'll kick you, he'll elbow you, he'll do whatever it takes to upset you. Maybe that's the only way anybody can get to Whitaker, if you can find him.
Indeed, Whitaker's co-trainer Lou Duva made a big point of complaining about that prospect at the rules meeting yesterday and asking officials to watch to be sure Nazario doesn't bite or butt his fighter. You saw Lou Duva and George Benton in Meldrick's Taylor corner earlier this evening. Now you're going to see him again. Maybe the oddest couple in the sport. A fighter becomes a champion through hard work and dedication, and unquestionably, Pernell Whitaker has made those commitments. But along with his God-given ability, another Whitaker asset is the pair of men who work his corner. In last year's Boxing Writers Association Trainer of the Year, George Benton, and the ever-colorful Lou Duva, Whitaker has 2 of the most capable trainers in the sport of boxing. In the ring, Benton and Duva think alike. Outside the ring, their personalities are as different as night and day.
Lou's room is a pit-pit. It's a slop. You know, you have to jump over boxes, and you ask him where the telephone is, he got to reach under the bed and get it to you. But if you go in George's room, George is so neat, it's clean, his forks and napkins are all on the table. And, you know, he's cooking soul food. George would love you to eat his food.
This is my personal catfish. And Lou Duva don't get no parts of this.
Lou, he's got all the Italian food, and he's eating everything himself. You know, he's not going to let you give us so much of his food.
George Benton and I go back 15 years. George Benton's the biggest talent is putting up with my BS, number one. And we've had a good relationship. I mean, we go shopping to the malls, him and I, and we kid around, and we like our music, and we like our food. He's always trying to kill me with the soul food. I'm trying to kill him with Italian food. We go to the malls, we go shopping, understand? And I'm his best friend. Remember, I'm the guy that got the American Express card. He hasn't.
Over the years, Lou's, you know, been like a brother to me. We've struck up a heck of a friendship, you know, and it's nothing that I can ask Lou that he wouldn't do for me, and I know this, you know.
No one questions that both men know their boxing. It may seem hard to believe, but Lou Duva was once a 147-pound welterweight champion. Through the years, Duva has made it a point to become a student of the game. His charismatic personality is his trademark and has produced some uncontrollable outbursts.
Put the music on while I'm going in! Put the music on!
I think Lou is a little more fiery than I am. You know what I mean? And Lou is ready to, you know, do anything to win. He don't give a damn what it is. And he'll fight the judges, the referees, and anybody, you know what I mean? With me, I think I'm a little more laid back than Lou is when it comes to that.
Benton may well be laid back, but he has a great deal to say about what he knows best, boxing. In the 50s and 60s, Benton was a top middleweight contender.
And I don't know if he's going to make it.
Years later, he made a name for himself when he masterminded the strategy used by Leon Spinks to upset Muhammad Ali. Time has passed, but he's still in the gym, passing on the knowledge acquired through the years. You see, boxing is George Benton's life. And to most of the young fighters with whom he works, he's much more than just a trainer. To many, he's their best friend.
After being together so long, then you get to, you know, you get a special relationship. As a trainer, you have to be a psychiatrist, you have to be a brother, you have to be a father, you know. You have to be abundance of a lot of things in order to, you know, you got to be able to relate in everything with your fighter.
Benton's ability to relate to his fighters and to work side by side with Lou Duva has resulted in 10 world champions. Despite their diverse personalities, the two remain the closest of friends.
If you talk about an odd couple situation, I think you got the odd couple right there, and George is the steady guy. If we were both loud out there, we'd have a problem. Hey, I got the big mouth, he hasn't, you know? I'm out there as a showman out there. I mean, it's a little bit of everything. That's, again, what makes the odd couple situation so successful. But I think he understands his role, I understand my role. I don't step on his toes, he don't step on my toes. But above all, there's only one top priority, the fighter.
They say that in life, opposites attract. To prove that, one only has to look as far as Pernell Whitaker's corner tonight. George Benton and Lou Duva, both from the old school of pugilistic education, both getting out of this the greatest sense of accomplishment when they see their young fighters' arms raised in victory.
And now here comes the WBA lightweight champion Juan Nazario, upset winner several months ago over Edwin Rosario to take that championship, a fight in which he showed his wide array of weapons, including sheer aggression. This is precisely the kind of don't back down fighter against which Whitaker has been so effective recently. Haugen is a guy who comes to you and wants to fight. Whitaker made mincemeat of him. Jose Luis Ramirez has been known to take command of fights. Whitaker easily handled him, and Azuma Nelson you saw on May 17 here on HBO. Nazario's record, 22 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, or no draws, and almost all KOs since early in his career. He had 3 decisions in his first 4 bouts, not many since then. Ray Leonard, your tip of the night as to what these two fighters will be trying to do with each other.
Well, Jim, there's a song that's perfect for Pernell Whitaker by MC Hammer. It's called Can't Touch This. When Pernell has his man turning, they really can't touch him. He is so elusive. Very few guys have been able to catch up with him. Boxing, 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 which makes Pernell Whitaker one of the best. Now, Pernell Whitaker should never get into a brawl against Nazario, because sources say that when he gets inside, Nazario has a tendency to fight his opponents. So we may see a fight or two in this fight. with Nazario, he's a tough guy. But what he has to do, he has to stay in Whitaker's chest and punch. The way he's doing here when he took the title away from Edwin Rosario. Stayed close to his man, kept him against the ropes, kept him in the corners, and worked him. Now, if Nazario finds himself laying back, he's going to be like a human punching bag because Pernell Whitaker's hands are so fast.
And you see Meldrick Taylor, incidentally, right behind his good friend Pernell Whitaker, as Whitaker now emerges for the 5th defense of his IBF championship, the 3rd defense of his WBC title, and a chance to take over the WBA crown and unify this division. Of course, it matters not who wins the fight as to whether there will be a unified titleist for the first time in 12 years. The same is true, of course, if Nazario is to score the upset. Pernell Whitaker is heavily favored in the sports betting parlors here.
Come on, baby. Let's go, Jim. Come on. Move that around. Move that around. That's it.
Whitaker has suffered only one loss in his career. That was 2.5 years ago to Jose Luis Ramirez in Paris. He later avenged that loss in his hometown of Norfolk, Virginia. 12 knockouts against the 5 champions he has fought. He has won all decisions. There have been no knockouts against any of those opponents. And as you look at the tail of the tape, you're going to see that the two fighters are equal in age. Nazario is the taller and has a little bit longer reach.
And here you can see some punch stat numbers on their most recent fights. Whitaker is a little bit busier than Nazario. Nazario tries to aggravate you to death. And of course, Whitaker throws a lot more jabs.
41 jabs per round against Azuma Nelson. Rules for the bout, 3 judges scoring it, 10-point must system, no standing 8 count, 3 knockdown rule is in effect, and you can be saved by the bell in the last round only. Once again now, ring announcer Jim Hall, the pre-fight intros.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, President Jose Sulema, Supervisor Haig Collegian, the World Boxing Association President Dr. Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Julio Castillo, International Boxing Federation President Bob Lee, Supervisor Alvin Goodman, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Dr. James Nave, Commissioners Dwayne Ford, Dr. Elias Ghanem, Jay Nady, and Luther Mack. The Executive Director is Chuck Minker. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Caesars Tahoe, our main event. This match scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. The referee for this contest is Mills Lane. Introducing first in the red corner, this young man is wearing the red trunks with the white trim. He weighs 135 pounds. He's from Puerto Rico with a record of 22 wins. 2 losses with 16 wins by knockout. Here's the WBA lightweight champion of the world. Here's Juan Nazario. And now, fighting out of the blue corner, this young man is wearing the black trunks with the red trim. He weighs 135 pounds. He fights out of Norfolk, Virginia, with a record of 22 wins, 1 loss with 12 wins by knockout. Here's the IBF and WBC lightweight champion of the world. Here's Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker.
Okay, go. They get the check-in. Go here. Come here. Okay, now, we've already been through all the instructions in the dressing room, okay? Now protect yourself at all times. Any questions here? No, sir. Any questions here? Let's get it on. Come on, here we go.
There are a lot of little Sierra Mountain bugs flitting all over the ring as darkness descends on us. But the bug who may be hardest to hit of all is Pernell Whitaker.
In the corner, please.
Kind of makes you scared to open your mouth, though, doesn't it? Suddenly calling the fight is considerably more dangerous a task than has ever been the case before. Referee Mills Lane is supervising his 43rd professional world championship fight. One of the best.
You will see a lot of reaching by Nazario because of the hand speed and foot speed of Pernell Whitaker. Whitaker is not moving as much now, trying to preserve that strength and energy. What he's doing now is trying to pick his shots and seeing what Nazario is vulnerable to. He knows a lot of head feints, body feints, keeping that jab in his face.
In addition to headbutts and, of course, fighting, Lou Duva also asked during the rules meeting that attention be paid to Nazario's elbows. Duva contends that Nazario has been known to crack his opponents across the chin with the elbows.
That would not be the case, and I can almost guarantee you that if Whitaker boxes, stays on the outside, keep his man turning, and uses his hand and foot speed, he should not allow Nazario to get that close to him.
Yeah, if it happens, it usually happens inside on the ropes. Over the top with the left for Whitaker and the short right inside. What great feet he has, Ray. Such balance, always moving.
I like the way Whitaker attacks the body. I mean, he puts his whole body behind him. There he's giving angles. And he's making it very difficult for Nazario to get set.
Normally when you see a southpaw in the ring, you watch the front feet because you expect to see the situation in which front feet can become entangled. But here are two southpaws, just like two conventional fighters going against one another.
That was the body shots. Beautiful execution of shots to the body by Whitaker. When you hear a guy say he gets his whole body into a punch, Whitaker does just that.
Get back. Hit him up. Come on, Pete.
Not gonna make it.
6, 7, 8, 9.
Not gonna make it.
10.
This is a first round knockout for Pernell Whitaker.
It was a punch, obviously, that caused a delayed reaction. Nobody knew the punch was that hard, and we'll have to take a look at the replays to determine exactly what punch that happened to. That caused that effect.
Third first-round knockout of Pernell's career, but as I pointed out, he never knocked out a champion fighter before.
It's almost like a delayed opening of a parachute after a guy jumps out of a plane.
And Nazario's still down.
What happened?
Yeah, Nazario's still down, Larry. Sorry to interrupt. Wow.
It's the punch you don't see, as we've often said before, that's the one that hurts you the most. And obviously, it was a quick, sharp punch that Nazario never saw.
Hey, Whitaker.
Well, that's one sure way to make sure you're not going to get elbowed or bitten or butted or kicked.
Good job.
Hold on, man. What I see in Pernell Whitaker, he's getting stronger, more confident, and the thing about it, he's going to be tough to beat.
The official time of the knockout, 2 minutes 59 seconds of the first round. So Whitaker used the entire round to scope out his opponent before landing the blow that did the damage. He had scored over the top with a couple of left hands flush on the jaw, but they didn't put Nazario down. Let's take a look at a replay and see what happened.
The whole time, Pernell Whitaker had control. I mean, he worked the body of Nazario. He laid back, a lot of feints, and come with that beautiful overhand left. It was almost like a delayed reaction. It came so sharp, so quick. And here we have another angle. It was a body shot first that led up to that. And Whitaker taking his time, setting his man up, and counter with that overhand left hand. Beautiful shot.
Right on the jaw. You saw Nazario drop his right hand to make it possible, too.
And again, Jim, the devastation of that punch, you see here, once again, when he lands the punch, there's like a delay, and then Nazario goes down. Whitaker got his whole body behind that punch.
So now he'll get to wear 3 belts. And the first lightweight to do so in 12 years. Here are the quickest knockouts in the history of lightweight title defenses, and this 2-minute 59-second job is not in the same statistical league with some of the others that you're seeing here, but it makes its mark, getting into the top 10 quickest knockouts in lightweight title fights. And right now, let's go up and hear the official particulars from Jim Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight ends at 2:59 of the first round here at Caesars Tahoe. Winner by knockout and the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Pernell Whitaker.
Well, on the night, as you look at those statistics, there were 2,215 punches thrown here in this HBO tripleheader, and the most effective was the last, a left hand over the top by Pernell Whitaker, which has made him the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. And right now, we go up to listen to a man who a few years back was not an easy interview, with reticent, one-word answers. He's a whole different kind of guy now, and he's great fun to talk to as Larry Merchant gets the chance. Larry?
Pernell, what happened? First of all, Larry, do I get the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful? You get 3 wonderfuls, 2 ears, and all the hooks. Well, Larry, first, what happened was I was establishing the good jab, and once I got on track with my jab, I was kind of like filling him out, but I saw his left hand, his right hand kept coming down. So I figured a quick 1-2 would catch him on the chin. But, and that's what happened.
It was the right hand because there was such a delayed reaction. It seemed like a punch he didn't really see.
He didn't see it because, I worked hard and I worked on that, blinding him with the jab and all. And it was wonderful. I can't believe it.
Now, you don't look big enough to wear 3 belts. How do you feel about having 3 belts?
It's wonderful. And first of all, without the help of my family back home, Vaughn, Dominic, and Pernell, they believed in me, and they told me to watch the headbutts and elbows. Daddy did it. And second of all, I'd like to say hello to everybody back home. We did it. Happy birthday, Lil Floyd, and happy 20 plus.
Well, we want you to enjoy this, and obviously you will. But let me ask you this. What is in store now for Pernell Whitaker? Everybody talks about Taylor fighting Chavez and Camacho fighting Chavez, big money fights. Why don't you get in on that? Where's the big money fight for you?
Of course, the biggest challenge for me right now is the Sugar Ray Leonard basketball game I have August 29th. I want him to know, just like I hit with that right hand, that's how good my basketball game is. But I want to say that I'm the type of fighter that hasn't chased anyone. I fought the best. Now it's time for the best to start wanting to fight Pernell Whitaker. Yes, we want Chavez, but that's all right. Chavez is the fight. Camacho, you got all sorts of champions up there.
I mean, I speculated that you and Chavez and Taylor and Camacho could be to the 90s what Ray Leonard and Hagler and Hearns and Duran were the 80s. So I want to see you in on it, but you don't seem as eager to be in on it as I do.
Well, I let things come to me, Larry. Just like all good things come to those who wait, I let it come to me, and everybody across the country have seen what happened tonight. Now they just let the people decide who they want to see fight between Pernell Whitaker or who. And I plug Sugar Ray Leonard, the basketball game with Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm very serious about it. People are home waiting for that to happen. I'll be home August 29th.
Okay, before we get to your jump shot, real quickly, what is next for Pernell Whitaker?
Well, I think, Larry, he fits in. He can go either way. He can go to 40. He can stay at 35. I would like to give the winner of Tony Lopez and Jorge Paez a shot at his lightweight title. I would like to step up and fight Chavez. We'll fight for 40 pounds. We'll fight anybody at all. He's flexible around there. We can go either way. We're ready to fight a top fight for HBO.
Right after a knockout like this, I guess you feel you can take on the world. Right now, I feel good about it. I still don't believe it. I want my family to know I'll be home. We're going to Washington, D.C. to the zoo.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pernell. Now back to ringside.
Well, you heard about the basketball game, and it's a mark of Pernell's confidence that during our brief meeting with him yesterday, he talked very little about boxing and a great deal about his basketball challenge against you, Ray Leonard. But we look ahead for what's up for Pernell Whitaker. He listed a lot of possible opponents. None of them were 135-pound fighters. He talked about Camacho and Chavez. It's an irony of this kind of success that he may already have cleaned out the lightweight division in terms of big money fights. Can he go up to 140?
He can fight at 140, 147. I think with his speed, with his talent, with his God-given hand speed, he can deal with anyone. I was very impressed with what he annihilated Ramos Nazario. I mean, it was a perfect display of power.
One-round knockout in the eyes of many doesn't prove much, but he looks to be so much better than was the case just a short time ago at, as you say, getting his whole body into the punches.
Well, if you notice, he settled down. Wasn't a lot of movement. He wasn't running around the place, taking his time, picking his shots, working the jab, working the body, and then that blazing left hand came into play.
All right, thanks a lot, Ray. Larry, what do you take away from a one-round knockout performance in the way of an indication of Pernell Whitaker's continued development?
Well, there have been a lot of lightning and thunder and fires nearby in the Sierra Mountains, as I'm sure people all over the country have seen in the news shows lately, and I've been waiting for some of that lightning and some flash fire to break out all night. I don't think I expected it to come from Pernell Whitaker, but I think as Ray has aptly described it, he has such perfect timing. There's almost something, he's like a dancer and an aerobic person combined who does generate those quick punches and now perhaps more power from those punches as he gets more confident. So he's a factor. These are the most exciting fighters in the world right now, I think, along with Chavez outside of the heavyweight division, and I'm looking to see what happens next.
Our first triple header, a big success, I think.
Yes, it was a big success because we didn't have to go another 12 rounds. I don't know if I could have handled that.
All right, well, you've seen three of the best fighters on the planet, and I'm going to take the liberty of putting Camacho back up into that category now, although at the beginning of the evening, I was reluctant to place him in the same league with Meldrick, Taylor, and Pernell Whitaker. Now let's go ahead and say you saw three of the very best tonight, and you saw them all win against quality opponents, at least on paper. That completes our first ever triple header on HBO, and we take a look back at what happened. In the beginning of the evening, it was Meldrick Taylor in the ring for the first time since his devastating, both physically and emotionally, loss to Julio Cesar Chavez back in March. And after a difficult first 4 rounds against a tough Primo Ramos, Taylor was able to weather one long bout with a low blow and turn things around to win a unanimous decision. Another unanimous decision in bout number 2. This one a little bit more disappointing because a tough Tony Baltazar, who called himself the hardest puncher at 140 pounds, wasn't able to land enough, wasn't busy enough to give Camacho a real test. On the other hand, it might have been the best Hector Camacho in more than 4 years, as he was aggressive and stepped forward. Aggressive and stepping forward, how about Pernell Whitaker in round 1 against WBA lightweight champion Juan Nazario with the left hand over the top of the dropping right that put Nazario down for the full 10 count, even with a delay in the middle when Whitaker went to the wrong corner, and scored for Pernell Whitaker the first round knockout that unified the lightweight title. Coming up, immediately following tonight's boxing coverage, you'll see Tales from the Crypt on the East Coast and Who's Harry Crumb on the West Coast. And when World Championship Boxing on HBO returns September 22 from Atlantic City, you'll see Mike Tyson continuing his quest toward regaining the heavyweight title as he takes on another contender, Alex Stewart. We'll also see undefeated WBC and IBF junior welterweight champion Julio Cesar Chavez. who has signed to face #1 ranked contender Kyung-duk Ahn of Korea. 2 of boxing's best live on HBO September 22. So now for Larry Merchant and Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm Jim Lampley saying so long from Lake Tahoe, Nevada. The executive producer of HBO Sports is Ross Greenberg. Tonight's Tripleheader was produced by Rick Bernstein and directed by Mark Payton. The feature producer was Michael J. Whalen. The associate producer was Brian McDonald. The assistants to the producer, Kendall Reed and Kirby Bradley. Production manager, Russell Gabay. And the technical supervisor was George Wenzel.